Hey, fam! What's up? Oh my god. I'm already tired of this. I'm already exhausted. It hasn't even started yet. Anyway, this was kind of like last minute spontaneous, so thank you guys for being here. I'm honestly surprised anyone showed up. I thought people would just be like watching Trump, but I'm so glad you guys are here. Hey, Sage, Millie, Esteban, Jeremy, Leah, everybody, Dylan, Chris. Um, I don't know where to begin. I'm not looking for. My blood pressure cannot take another election. I feel like we just got done with the last one, but we'll see how this goes. How is everybody feeling about the debate thus far? Don't tell me there's an echo. No, I have an echo. Why do I have an echo? Is the echo in your head or is it in my mic? Let me know. Hey, Travis, Snowflame. Let me pull this thing up. So I'm a little bit nervous because, first of all, I just get nervous being alone on a live stream. I feel like I'm going to be more awkward than normal. Oh, good. It's good now. But I'm also not very trusting of my internet. So we'll see how this goes. Yay, it's good now. Let me pull the thing up. So, okay, so first of all, in case for like maybe one day people will watch this and not know what's happening out of context. So Trump is not showing up to the debate tonight. So I'm thinking it's just going to be like DeSantis trying to really take off. Vivek. Okay, we need to like catch up and you guys have to tell me what we're thinking about all the people. So I know I'm going to get shit for this. I'm 100% DeSantis right now. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I can't stand the Vivek guy. He's just like the fucking creature from the Black Lagoon or something. He's just I agree with everything he says words, but I don't exactly, Melly. Same. Oh my god, I'm honored, Sage. You're switching back between me and Tucker Trump. Okay, so can you be the Trump correspondent? That's what I was going to say. So Trump is not there, so he's on Tucker at the same time. So somebody needs to be our Trump correspondent to let us know what's going on. Hey, Aiden. What? No, you guys freak me out with the audio because I've had audio problems before. Is it your static or my static? Okay, Sage is going to be our Trump correspondent. So we're going to check in and see what he's saying. Let me pull the thing up. So yes, hopefully this works. Excellent. Vivek, so I just had a bad feeling about this Vivek guy from the beginning, just an instinct. He's full of shit. And then I was seeing his book from not even a year ago. I think it came out last September, where he's just basically saying the exact opposite of everything he's saying now. The January 6th, the insurrection, he is so full of shit. Why is there static? That's annoying. DeSantis is a secret gay husband on the side. Just saying. Mine too. What is Vivek flopped on? I think a lot of the COVID stuff, the vaccine. Mainly I think for me was well, I mean I never trust him, but you got to read the stuff from his book. What are you saying about January 6th? It was just the opposite. Please tell me you don't have static anymore. One sec. You would think I would be better at this by now. All right, let me know. Is there still static? Maybe it's okay, let me get this on here. One sec. Do this. One sec. Sorry, I'm using a new browser and I'm very smart, of course. Oh, good. The stag's gone. Hey, Strawn. So yeah, okay. This is what I wanted to ask though. Going into it, we'll see if anything changes. I want like a poll of you guys. Who's for Trump? Who's for DeSantis? Who's for none of them? Who's for Vivek, I guess? Or one of the other horrible people? The Downey dryer sheets worked. Okay. Whoa. That's not good. One sec. No, Jojo, you're not retarded. A lot of people like him. So I think he's going to be like a maniac tonight. He's just going to be like really going for DeSantis. Okay, so not entire screen. Oh my God. Yeah, nobody's here. I don't know why all these people are running Nikki Hill. Who's this guy, by the way? The one who was giving gift cards away. So the person in the debate who none of us know was giving gift cards away. And that's how he was like, donate and I'll give you a gift card. I don't know who he even is, though. The Doug guy. I have to switch browsers. Sorry, give me 1 second. See, this is why my exception. See, this is why I get angsty doing these alone. I think the past ones have gone too well, so I needed to have problems now. New tab, this one better work. Oh my God. I think someone identified as a gift card. Can somebody tell me who the Doug guy is? I need to know. I should have Googled that before, probably. Okay, there we go. I think I'm figuring this out. Sorry, 1 second. I'm going to get this up and going. Okay. I think I figured everything out. I hope. Okay. Whoa. 1 sec. I'm switching browsers. Okay. Hopefully this works. 9 o'clock. Show is ready. Come on. Here we go. Okay. See, we get things working eventually. We kind of just take the long way to get there. Boom. Got it.
But that was just the beginning. 2 years later, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down Roe versus Wade, leaving the legality of abortion up to the states. In Wisconsin, that meant a nearly total ban. The power of that issue drove Democrats to the polls this year. Now, that new thin liberal majority on the court could have that abortion issue before it again, just as the race for the White House accelerates. Tonight, so
I guess they're starting with like a very dramatic montage.
The Marquette Golden Eagles, hoping to return next July to this city on the shore of Lake Michigan to accept the Republican nomination at their party's national convention.
Oh my God, I forgot Tim Scott was even there. Why are these people?
The race for the White House takes flight. Welcome
yeah, I'm getting my drink. I have debate snacks, by the way.
Campaign live at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee.
Republican candidates have qualified and have chosen to be here on our debate stage.
It's
tonight.
looking like
They are
Mike
here to
Pence
lead up
has a
the
new
vision
coat of
for
shellac
America,
on him,
the
so
battle-
that's
the
good.
battle for the GOP nomination. Good evening, everybody.
I was going to
I'm
try to
Martha
do this
McCallum.
sober,
And
but
I'll
I
get
don't think
there.
I can.
This is the very same stage on which the Republican choice for president will accept the party's nomination next summer. The 8 contenders are positioned by the order they sit in the polls, with the highest polling candidates in the middle standing center stage.
Since when did we
Florida
start believing
Governor
polls
Ron
again, by the way?
DeSantis.
Please do a good job. Don't fuck this up, please.
Ramaswamy.
He's so
Former Vice
slimy.
President Mike Pence.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley.
Done.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
Chosen to be here. No truer words.
Tim Scott.
Former Arkansas
Forgot about
Governor Asa Hutchinson.
Oh,
And
fuck
North
you.
Dakota Governor
That guy's.
Doug Burgum.
How does that guy get in, but
Rules
Larry
for
Elder
tonight,
doesn't?
We'll ask the questions, and then candidates get 1 minute to answer. If someone is singled out, you get 30 seconds to respond. And when the time runs out, we all will hear this. Very pleasant.
So tonight, these candidates have a big opportunity to break out of the pack and to explain why they are best prepared to be the Republican choice for president at a time when the likely
Guarantee
Democrat
you the first
nominee,
question is
President
about
Joe
Trump.
Biden,
Guarantee you.
is working to convince the country that with Bidenomics, things are looking up.
Vivek is
They
Indian.
call my plan Bidenomics. I'm not sure they meant it in a totally complimentary way at the time. But guess what? It's working.
But
It's not. Go to
Is
the
it?
grocery store.
more than 65% of Americans say the country is headed in the wrong direction. And here's the reality for some
think?
voters we talked to here in Wisconsin this week.
We have noticed a dramatic increase in prices at the grocery store just across the board.
Gas is high and food is high. A lot of people's out here homeless because they
The
can't
food
buy
is too damn
food.
high.
It's tough when you got mortgage rates at 7-8% versus 2 to 3. It's just you can't afford a house anymore.
Inflation is ridiculous. It's killing us out here.
We
Thank
sit
you,
here
Biden.
tonight. The #1 song on the Billboard chart is called Rich Men North of Richmond. It is by a singer from
That's gonna be a
Farmville,
debate
Virginia,
question?
named Oliver Anthony. His
What?
lyrics speak of alienation, of deep frustration with the state of government and of this country.
I take notes. I'm taking
Washington,
notes.
D.C. is about 100 miles north of Richmond.
You're gonna play this.
Richmond, Lord knows it all. Just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think. Wanna know
I haven't either,
what
Millie.
you
We're
think.
horrible.
You know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich
Good
men,
for him.
'cause the rich men.
I'm surprised Vivek isn't
So,
pulling an
Governor
Oprah
DeSantis,
and pretending
why
to know
is
the
this
words.
Song striking such a nerve in this country right now.
That's a stupid
what do you think
question.
it means?
Our country is in decline. This decline is not inevitable. It's a choice.
Yeah, Werner.
We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline. And it starts with understanding we must reverse Bidenomics so that middle-class families have a chance to succeed again. We cannot succeed as a country if you are working hard and you can't afford groceries, a car, or a new home, while Hunter Biden can make hundreds of thousands of dollars on lousy paintings. That is wrong. We also cannot succeed when the Congress spends trillions and trillions of dollars. Those rich men north of Richmond have put us in this situation. And finally,
Nervous about
we need to
this.
lower your gas prices. We're going to open up all energy production. We will be energy dominant again in this country. I showed it could be done in the state of Florida. I pledge to you
Oh,
as
he's
your
very
president,
robotic.
we will get the job done, and I will not let you down.
All right, Governor DeSantis, thank you. Governor Christie, do you agree
Oh,
with
I
what
didn't
DeSantis just
like
said
that.
there? And why would you be better on the economy?
Oh,
Well, look, I do agree predominantly with what Governor DeSantis just laid out. And I think that if
Cheetos.
you asked every one of us up here, that we would agree predominantly with what he just laid out. Here's the difference. The difference is that we're going to have to work and make sure that we sell these ideas and be able to put ourselves in a position where we get a majority of the vote, not only by winning the Congress and the Senate in the 24, but also by having someone who's had the experience of doing it. Now,
He's a
was
scumbag,
elected
but
as a
he's
conservative
very
Republican
good in these
in a blue
debates.
state with 61% of the vote, with a Democratic legislature against me the entire time.
Over
And
a
we
decade ago, you
through
fuck.
hard, strong decision making, brought them around to our point of view. We cut taxes in New Jersey. We cut debt in New Jersey. We made sure that each and every time we were confronted with bad
What happened with
democratic
obesity
ideas,
in
we
New
stood
Jersey?
and stopped them. And when there were good ideas, we brought people together to make progress going forward. Truth and accountability are the things we need to do to fight waste. And I'd say the last thing is this, Brett. We cannot sit by any longer and allow the kind of spending that's going on in Washington, because every dollar they spend is a dollar that these people
He's very
are not
good
allowed
in
to
these
spend on their
debates,
children and their
objectively.
grandchildren. It's robbing our country and it's wrong.
Well, Governor, let me just follow up very quickly. New Jersey, when you were governor, had the second lowest credit rating in the nation after Illinois, and it was downgraded 11 times.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what happens when you inherit a blue state that has done that. But when you look at what we did on debt, Brett, in that state, we cut debt in that state, debt that had been left to us by three Democratic gubernatorial
country is
predecessors
on
of ours
fire.
who ran up
We're in
that debt
flames.
tremendously.
And we're talking
what
about
you
what
also
Chris
saw us
Christie
do
did in New
was to cut
Jersey
the
in the
unemployment
year
rate in
2010.
half. It was over 10% when I became governor in 2010. What we also did was cut pension payments.
Can we talk
to
about
public
this
employees to make sure that taxpayers were not being soaked by a public employee union system
That is
was
a very
killing
stark
the
contrast
taxpayer.
to what we're. I mean,
Governor
it's
Scott,
starting.
Tim Scott, Senator Scott, excuse me. The song also goes after welfare programs. As a senator, now President Biden argued for freezing federal spending, this was back in the 80s, and dealing with sacred cows. He does not talk about that anymore. You have been a senator, though, for 10 years. So what have you done to rein in the increasing size of government?
This
Well, thank you for
guy.
the question.
I won't.
Over the last several years, I've had an opportunity to vote against spending package after spending package after spending package. What we also need to understand is that Joe Biden's Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family. When you see 16% inflation, your gas is up 40%, your food is up 20%, your electricity is up 20%. We can stop that by turning the spigot off in Washington, sending the money back to the states, and allowing the decisions to be made at their own houses. I helped write the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017. We cut taxes for a single mom like the one that raised me by 70%, for dual households by 60%, returning to the average family $4,000.
We got to talk.
If you don't
I'm
send
making
it
a
to
note of
Washington,
that.
we can't spend it. That's good news for the American people.
Okay, but just to follow up, you did, during the Trump administration, you approved 4.4 trillion, 4.1 trillion, 1.7 trillion over the course of that administration. That's a lot of money.
There's no doubt that during the Trump administration, when we were dealing with the COVID virus, we spent more money. But here's what happened at the end of
Battle
our
for VP.
time in the majority. We had low unemployment, record low unemployments, 3.5% for the majority of the population, 70%, 70-year low for women. African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians had an all-time low, but our inflation was at 2%. Under Joe Biden, we've seen the exact opposite. We've seen inflation explode, which led to 12 Federal Reserve increases that's devastating home buyers today.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you're listening to these answers.
If I may,
No, hold on one second.
He's going to have his claws
I don't know
out.
if I get a chance to respond.
He didn't mention you specifically, but we'll be with you in a second, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Ramaswamy, listening to all of this, why should voters choose you over more experienced politicians on this stage? You're basically, a blank slate for people. You're 38 years old. You've said that you only voted in 2 presidential elections before.
He's going to
this
start with,
moment, this
well,
So first, let me just address a question that is on everybody's mind at home tonight.
Yeah.
Who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name? And what the heck is he doing in the middle of this debate stage? I'll tell you, I'm not a politician, Brett. You're right about that. I'm an entrepreneur. My parents came to this country with no money.
He's not a politician, like I'm not a faggot.
Multi-billion-dollar companies. I did it while marrying my wife, Apoorva, raising our 2 sons, following our faith in God. That is the American dream. And I am genuinely worried that that American dream will not exist for our 2 sons and their generation unless we do something about it. And I do think Brett is going to take an outsider, because for a long time we have professional politicians in the Republican Party who have been running from something. Now is our moment to start running to something, to our vision of what it means to be an American today. If you have a broken car, you don't turn over the keys to the people who broke it again. You hand it over to a new generation to actually fix the problem. That's why I'm in this race, and we're just getting warmed up.
All right, to you, Governor Haley. So why are you better positioned to turn around this economy that we've heard all of these voters talking about tonight
Bride of
than
Frankenstein.
Mr. Ramaswamy, who is a successful entrepreneur nationally right now? He's beating you in the polls.
Well, I don't care about polls. What I care about the fact is that no one is telling the American people the truth. The truth is,
and I
that
darn
Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us too. When they passed that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill, they left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in, and they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars. It's not their dollars. And while they're all saying this, you have Ron DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all voted to raise the debt, and Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt, and our kids are never going to forgive us for this. And so at the end of the day, you look at the 2024 budget. Republicans asked for $7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant.
I'm kind of surprised by that. I'm not usually a fan of hers at all, but I like that she's calling her asses out.
Voters say the cost of groceries is a, quote, major problem for them. Right. You blame the Biden administration spending for that increase. But as vice president, your administration spent more than any prior, $7.8 trillion added to the national debt, $3.5 trillion of that before COVID. So does that mean that you're part of the spending problem?
Well, first off, thanks for the question. Thanks for letting me respond to a reference to our administration's record. I'm incredibly proud of the record of the Trump-Pence administration. I mean, in 4 short years, we rebuilt our military. We revived our economy. We unleashed American energy. And we appointed 3 conservatives to the Supreme Court that gave the American people a new beginning for the right to life. Now, Martha, you asked earlier who's the most best prepared for this job. And I must tell you, with all due respect to all of my friends on the stage, and even to one that's probably looking on, I think unquestionably I am the best prepared, the most tested, the most qualified and proven conservative in this race. I was a leader in the Congress of the United States.
Why is he
I led
running?
Indiana where we balanced budgets and had a AAA bond rating when I was governor. And as vice president of the United States, we spent funding to backfill on the military cuts of the Obama administration. And then we were there in the worst pandemic in 100 years. All that being said, I was the first person in this race.
The worst pandemic, the biggest scam in 100 years.
National debt issues. You got people on this stage that won't even talk about issues like Social Security and Medicare. I mean, Vivek, you recently said a president can't do everything. Well, I got news for you, Vivek. I've been in the hallway. I've been in the West Wing. A president of the United States has to confront every crisis facing America.
He is so full of shit. This is why they're all in on it. They are all in on it.
And prosperity and restore fiscal responsibility.
The worst pandemic. It's unbelievable.
And as governor,
Mr. Vice President,
Nope, the scam isn't over yet.
But
Yeah, I mean,
hold on. Yeah,
so
you were named earlier. I'm going to get Vivek first.
We'll get to both of
Yeah, this isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock American energy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. put people back to work by no longer paying them more
You
to
know,
stay at home.
everyone
Reform
else
the
is
US
so
Fed,
terrible and
stabilize
so
the US
bad
dollar,
thus far
and go to war. The only war that I will declare as U.S. president
that
will be the
people are
war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy. So I'm not sure I exactly understood Mike Pence's comment, but I'll let you all parse that out. For me, it's pretty simple. That's something a U.S. president can do with focus, and I'll deliver on it.
Well, let me explain it to you. If I can. I'll go slower this time.
Ooh, she's getting sassy.
I was a House conservative leader before it was cool.
I thought he was going to say I was the
The
housekeeper.
Deficit Reduction Act. That was the last time we actually reduced the national.
I
debt
had a
in the
little
United
feather
States.
duster.
And I was the leader of House
And
conservatives.
I wore a
I balanced
G-string.
budgets and cut taxes
God
when
bless
I was
America.
governor. I mean, look, Joe Biden has weakened this country at home and abroad. Now is not the
Who
time
let
for
him win?
on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience.
Oh, I hate the politics that make me laugh and smile.
It's 30 seconds when you have a rebuttal, okay? And you are up, Governor DeSantis.
So here's the thing. Why are we in this mess? Part of it, and a major reason, is because how this federal government handled COVID-19 by locking down this economy. It was a mistake. It should
Thank
have
you.
never happened. And in Florida, we led the country out of lockdown. We kept our state free and open. And I can tell you this, as your president, I will never let the deep state bureaucrats lock you down. You don't take somebody like Fauci and coddle him. You bring Fauci in, you sit him down, and you say, Anthony, you are fired.
Oh, why is he so robotic? Come on. Like, I'm rooting for him so badly, but like.
You know what? We're going to bring in.
I just want to finish responding to Mike. I just want to respond to Mike for 1 second because he invoked me back. Listen, now that everybody's gotten their memorized, pre-prepared slogans out of the way, we can actually have a real discussion now.
Oh, you're
the
wonderful.
reality and the fact of the matter is.
Was that one of yours?
Not really, Mike, actually. We're just going to have some fun tonight. And the reality is, you have a
slippery
bunch
little
of people,
sucker.
professional politicians, super PAC puppets, following slogans handed over to them by their 400-page super PACs last week. The real choice we face in this primary is this. Do you want a super PAC puppet, or do you want a patriot who speaks the truth? Do you want incremental reform, which is what you're hearing
pharmaceutical
about, or do you
executive?
want revolution?
Okay.
And I stand on the side of the American Revolution.
We're going to take control back here.
We need everyone to have a moment on the economy.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Can I address the
There are
COVID
two
issue
people
that
who
the
have
governor
not.
brought up?
We're going to get back to that. We are.
Exactly.
There are two people who we have not heard from yet. So let's hear from Governor Burgum and then from Governor Hutchinson on the economy, sir.
Well, great. Thank you, Martha. And of course, I'm from a town of 300 people. It's a big deal.
Who are you?
Stage with all these folks.
Who is this asshole? And why is his face
They were
melting?
all wishing me well, and I think I took them a little too literally when they said, go to Milwaukee and break a leg. So, but I do want to say on this, we're missing something. We can't just talk about the Biden economy because the economy, energy, and national security are all tied together. Of course, we're paying too much for our energy in our state, in our country right now. But part of the reason why is because of the Biden policies on energy. We've got a plan right now, the $1.2 trillion of Green New Deal spending buried in the
That's the one thing we can all agree on, no matter what.
Is just subsidizing China. If we're going to stop buying oil from the Middle East and start buying batteries from China, we're just trading OPEC for Sinopec. And then belatedly,
Oh, you're hearing that, North Dakota.
the Biden administration says, no, we're going to put sanctions on Russian oil. Well, we put sanctions on Russian oil. Well, then it's 20% off. Who's buying it? China. So if you buy a battery in this country, you buy a solar panel, it's being produced in a plant in China.
I
powered by
agree,
coal,
Maddie. Just
or
like
it's being powered by oil and
objectively,
gas
he
at
is
20%
in
off. And every
another
farmer in this
league
country would
than
like to buy
everyone else
diesel at
so far.
20% off, just like they're buying it in China.
And I don't want to say that. I don't like him. Come on, Ronald.
Thank you, Grant.
Step it
Nice to
up.
be here tonight. And let me just tell you that I'm a pro-life governor from a conservative state that have a conservative record in which I
Worst
lowered
one there.
taxes in Arkansas as governor. I created a $2 billion surplus that I passed over to my successor, and I made sure that we shrunk the size of government. We have 14% fewer state employees in Arkansas after I left government than when I took over as governor 8 years ago. I tell that because that's what we need in Washington,
this fucking
D.C.
guy, what he has
We
had
need
to say
somebody
about
who can
the
actually
lockdowns,
constrain
about
the growth of
COVID,
the
about
federal
January
government,
6th,
that
about
can actually reduce
kids
the size, and I
transitioning.
pledged to reduce by 10% our federal non-defense workforce.
I agree,
That's a
Mia.
specific pledge
That's
to
why
make
I'm
that
like,
attacks the administrative
step
state.
the fuck up in
And
this
let me
state.
applaud some of the business partners that are here that have had success in business. But let me tell you, I've been a federal prosecutor. I've served our country in terms of being head of the DEA in Homeland Security in times of crisis.
Great job you've done
that's
there.
experience that is important for the future of our country, to be the president of the United States that can lead with positive solutions and be held accountable.
Thank you. We have a lot of topics to get to, and I promise we're going to get to everyone if we play within the rules. Okay, next topic. More than 1,000 people are still unaccounted for in Maui after the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century. Hawaii's governor and White House officials said that climate change amplified the cost of human error.
And a tropical storm hit California for the first time in 84 years. The ocean hit 101 degrees off the coast of Florida. And in the last month, the heat wave in the Southwest broke records nearly 50 years old.
So Alexander Diaz from Young America's Foundation has a question for you.
I think
Polls
AI
consistently show
generated
that young people's #1 issue is climate change. How will you, as both President of the United States and leader of the Republican Party, calm their fears that the Republican Party doesn't care about climate change?
GOP thing. Do you guys remember
I want to start on
that?
this with a show of hands. Do you believe in human behavior is causing climate change? Raise your hand if you
that
do.
is such
We're
a
not school
bullshit.
children. Let's have the debate. I mean, I'm happy to take it to start. Alexander,
so do you want to raise your hand or not?
I don't think that's the way to do. So let me just say to Alexander this. First of all, one of the reasons our country's declined is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said, no comment. Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You've got to be there. You've got to be present. You've got to be helping people who are doing this. And here's the deal.
Let's just answer the question.
So is that a yes or is that a yes? Is that a hand raise?
It's not a yes or no question. The question is to what effect it's having. To what extent?
Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax. And we have to declare independence for it. And the reality is, the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is more people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
I hate to say this. Vivek is like in a completely different league so far.
I've had enough already tonight of
Oh.
a guy who sounds like ChatGPT.
If only you'd say you had enough at the buffet table.
And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
The same type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama, too. Give me that
The
damn
same
hug, brother.
type of amateur.
Hold on. Governor Haley, would you like to respond? Are you
So,
bought and
Brett,
paid
what
for?
I would like to say is the fact that I think this is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a
Fuck
woman.
you. Get that fucking feminist bullshit out of my Republican Party. Fuck you.
First of all,
Ask
we
a
do
woman.
care about clean air,
That's
clean
that
water. We
fucking
wanna see that
same
taken
old
care of.
Amy
But there's a right
Klobuchar
way to do it.
bullshit.
And the right way to do it is, first of all,
a
yes,
woman.
is climate change real? Yes,
Fuck
it is.
you.
But if you want to go and really change the environment, then we need to start telling
Then a
China
woman
and
will
India
do it.
that they have to lower
What is a
their
woman?
emissions. That's what our problem is. And these green subsidies that Biden has put in,
I can't
all
with
he's
you
done is help
guys.
China, because he doesn't understand all these electric vehicles that he's done, what that does. half of the batteries for electric vehicles are
Pence
made
has
in
been
China.
booed twice
And
so far.
That's not helping the environment. You're putting money in China's pocket, and Biden did that. So first of all, I think we need to acknowledge the truth, which is these subsidies are not working. We also need to take on the international world and say, okay, India and China, you've got to stop polluting, and that's when we'll start to deal with
Senator
climate
Scott, are you
punishment.
bought and paid for?
Absolutely.
Are you bought and paid for?
I'm sorry.
Are you bought and paid
Absolutely not. I mean, here's what the
He
American
just-
people
he
deserve,
just
is
said
a debate about the
absolutely.
issues that affect their lives. Going back and forth being childish is not helpful to the American people to decide on the next leader of our country. Number one, wait a second. And number two, as a kid who grew up in a single parent household mired in poverty, I wondered, was the American dream real for kids who were devastated by poverty, devastated by the challenges of life? I came to the conclusion that America can do for anyone what she's done for me if we focus on
America's a
restoring hope,
woman.
creating
Call
opportunities,
Ariana
and
Grande.
protecting America.
America is a woman.
If we want the environment to be better, and we all do, the best thing to do is to bring our jobs home from China. If we create 10 million new jobs in my Made in America plan, we will have a better economy and a better environment. Let me tell you why I say that.
Agree. I'm sure he's a nice.
Do it quickly.
America has cut. I'm a Southern boy. I talk slow. So America. That was quick. America has cut our carbon footprint in half in the last 25 years. The places where
I wonder if
they
he
are
would say
continuing to increase: Africa, 950 million people. India, over 1 billion. China, over 1 billion. Why would we put ourselves at a disadvantage, devastating our own economy? Let's bring our jobs home.
We have a lot of different topics to get to.
Yeah, we do. We thank you all. Thank you, Senator Scott. So coming up next.
Oh, thank God there are commercial breaks because we got to talk. We got to talk.
In the 2024 campaign, the first Republican debate continues moments away.
All right, I'm putting them on mute. We got to talk. Whew, okay, this shit is stressful. This is stressful. So far, I'm really upset. I'm really upset because I really think I want DeSantis so badly. I truly believe he is our only fucking hope. And it ain't good so far. He's the one who sounds like ChatGPT right now. It's just so stiff and robotic and he looks so uncomfortable. And I want to be wrong. Like, because I don't know. I really think this is kind of his big chance to prove himself to people and stand out and show what he's been about, what his record has been. But God, I don't know. Maybe he's nervous or something. Maybe come on, Ronald. Vivek, I don't trust it. I think Vivek would be one of those people. I agree with basically everything he says. He gives the best answers. Every word he says, I agree with. And he would be that person, I think, I could be wrong, who would get into office and would do the exact opposite of everything he campaigned on. I don't trust him. Exactly, Scaly. Yeah, he is beyond kicking everyone's ass so far. It's not even close. Yeah, Hutchinson is disgusting. God, this is stressful. I don't know why. I need to be more like Jeremy, who's just like, none of this matters. Elections aren't real. Like, I feel like this is kind of the last time that I'm giving it one more shot of hoping for the best with an election and thinking that something is possible. But I don't know about that. I'm going to be optimistic. This is interesting. DeSantis has fallen apart. I've been to his rallies for governor, and he was different. I'm hoping that changes. I'm so hoping that changes. Because Trump cannot win. We'll talk about him later. I don't want to rant about Trump right now, but he can't win. Sage, let us know anything that we have missed with Trump. Sage is our beautiful Trump correspondent tonight. Let us know what's going on with him and Tucker. Oh, and also, if you feel so inclined, help me in my grifting. Send in your super chats. Also, join my locals. We've been hate watching and just like that. Tomorrow is the finale. Sorry to click on that. He can't. So first of all, my main thing, and I love Tucker so much, because I saw the preview of the interview with him, and I was so happy that he asked him the question I've been asking for 2 years, basically, that if the election was stolen last time, what is your plan for this time? Like, if you couldn't prevent that last time, what would you do this time? And I haven't heard an answer to that yet. Yeah, I think with Trump, I think sometimes some of us who are on the internet a lot, who are sort of in this circle that all of us are in, I think sometimes we're in a little bit of a bubble. And when you talk to people outside of it, people have a psychotic break when they see his face. And I think a lot of that is unfair, but a lot of that is his own negligence and his own bad decisions and his own inability to respond to these things effectively. And for me personally, I can't get over COVID stuff, especially now that they're going to do it again. Oh, Jeremy, my love, thank you so much. I need to call it a night. I've seen enough to give me nightmares as it is. Well, I was going to say I'll see you tomorrow on Locals, but I feel like and just like that, I'll give you more nightmares. But I should mention, we're starting on Locals. Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Midnight Society we're going to watch. So join my Locals. We're a fun bunch. It's a good time. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Have a good night. Ooh, this shit show is back. Yeah, though. I'm shocked, though, how they're all letting Vivek just, like, bend them over and make them his bitch.
In 6 state referendums, all have upheld abortion rights in this country. And even in red states, there are more swing state referendums that are coming up as we head into the elections as well on this. So, Governor Haley, what do you say to your party and to your state, which today confirmed a 6-week abortion law as well, especially the impact on women, suburban
We got to
voters
talk about
across
this
country?
after, because I want to know what you
Thank
guys
you,
think.
Martha. I am unapologetically pro-life, not because the Republican Party tells me to be, but because my husband was adopted and I had trouble having both of my children. So I'm surrounded by blessings. Having said that, we need to stop demonizing this issue. This is talking about the fact that unelected justices didn't need to decide something this personal, because it's personal for every woman and man. Now it's been put in the hands of the people. That's great. When it comes to a federal ban, let's be honest with the American people and say it will take 60 Senate votes. It will take a majority of the House. So in order to do that, let's find consensus. Can't we all agree that we should ban late-term abortions? Can't we all agree that we should encourage adoptions? Can't we all agree that doctors and nurses who don't believe in abortion shouldn't have to perform them? Can't we all agree that contraception should be available? And can't we all agree that we are not going to put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty if she gets an abortion?
Putting women in jail and giving them the death penalty?
A respectful issue that it is, and humanize the situation and stop demonizing the situation.
It's like she read one thing and just read the headline from like BuzzFeed.
Florida. One of your biggest financial backers said that you need to, quote, shift to get moderates or you will lose. What do you say to him and others who say politically that is a tough thing to sell nationally?
Well, I would say we sold the biggest election landslide victory in the history of the Republican Party in the state of Florida in 2022. That's what I did. We can win. But second of all, look, you got to do what you think is right. I believe in a culture of life. I was proud to sign the heartbeat bill. I remember one of the most impactful moments of my life was when I heard the heartbeat of my oldest daughter in my wife's womb, and then saw the sonograms of all 3 of my kids. What the Democrats are trying to do on this issue is wrong, to allow abortion all the way up to the moment of birth.
100%.
I know a lady in Florida named Penny. She survived multiple abortion attempts. She was left discarded in a pan. Fortunately, her grandmother saved her and brought her to a different hospital. We're better than what the Democrats are selling. We are not going to allow abortion all the way up till birth, and we will hold them accountable for their extremism.
But just to be clear, Governor, would you sign a 6-week ban?
Good answer. But the delivery.
On the side of life. Look, I understand Wisconsin is going to do it different than Texas. I understand Iowa and New Hampshire are going to do different. But I will support the cause of life as governor and as president.
Vice President Pence, you're shaking your head.
Have a national.
Hold on, Senator. Vice President
What's
Pence.
he shaking his
You're
head?
shaking your head. What,
Well, look, I'm
Shake your
I'm new to
ass.
this cause. After I gave my life to Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, I opened up the book and I read, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And see, I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life."
He thinks,
and I knew
this
from
is
that
still
moment on, the cause of
1994.
life had to be my cause. And I've been a champion for life in the Congress, a champion for life as governor and as vice president. And to be honest with you, Nikki, you're my friend, but consensus is the opposite of leadership. When the Supreme Court returned this question
took that from
to
Trump.
the American people, they didn't just send it to the states only. It's not a states only issue. It's a moral issue. And I promise you, as president of the United States, the American
I'm about to
people
start
will
stress
have a
eating.
champion for life
I
in
got my
the
dumb
Oval
food.
Office. Can't we have a minimum standard in every state in the nation that says when a baby is capable of feeling pain, an abortion cannot be allowed? A 15-week ban is an idea whose time has come. It's supported by 70% of the American people, but it's going to take unapologetic leadership that stands on principle and expresses compassion for women in crisis pregnancies. I'll do that as president of the United States.
He called my name, so I want to respond to that.
30 seconds.
So first of all, I will say
Oh,
it
it's
is in the
gonna
hands of the people, and that's where it should be. But when you're talking about a federal ban, be honest with the American people. We haven't had 45 pro-life senators in over 100 years. So no Republican president can ban abortions any more than a Democrat president could ban all those state laws. Don't make women feel like they have to decide on this issue when you know we don't have 60 Senate
You should have
votes
run as a
in the
Democrat.
House.
You'd be a great Democrat.
70% of the American people support legislation
But
to ban
70% of
abortion
the
after
Senate
a baby is
does
capable
not.
of experiencing pain.
She's running like she's already the nominee.
70% of the
She's in the
Senate
general
does not.
election.
You have to be honest with the
We have
American
to have
people.
a 15-week
All right,
limit.
let's get Governor Bergman for one minute here.
Why?
But the
Yeah,
Supreme
exactly,
Court
Michael.
did
He thinks that this is
overturn
back in the
Roe v.
time where
Wade.
all
And-
you had,
and the
all
result
Republican had
of
to
that
say was
decision that
Jesus,
it went back
and
to
oh,
the
here,
states.
take my vote, take my vote.
So that's where
not
it is
the case
right
anymore.
now. So as I understand it, you are not in favor of a federal ban. What do you say about the states? There's about 5 of them.
He
Including
looks like
New
one of
Jersey,
those
I think,
movies where a
2
child
others,
becomes an adult
that allow
that
abortion
gets
up
trapped in
until
an
the time
adult
of
body
birth.
and he's
But
wearing
if
his
you were
father's
president,
suit.
would you be able to abide that?
Well, first of all, I'm a pro-life governor of a very pro-life state. And this
Say
is
it
issue
again.
is, of course, very important, but I
goodness.
am on the record and I stand behind that we should not have a federal abortion ban. We should not. And the reason why we shouldn't is very simple. It's the 10th Amendment in the Constitution. In the Constitution, which the states created the federal government, not the other way around, it says that there were certain
He looks
duties
like he's
allowed to
wearing
the
a
federal
skin
government
suit. I think they
delegated
really
to them
are
by the
lizard
states. The
people.
rest are left to the states, comma, or importantly, or to the people. We need to get back to freedom and liberty for the people in this country. And we can't have Republicans who fight for 50 years for this great cause
And
to return it back to the states. And then the next day they turn around and go, no, the feds should do that, because the feds are stepping into people's lives. They're stepping into people's businesses over and over. If we say that the feds should be in on this one, where do we stop? I say that we follow the Constitution and this is
Why are
returned
we
to the states.
sitting
This is
here
where it
listening
should
But
be.
Governor Bergman, you signed a 6-week ban. Time out. You signed a 6-week ban. Governor Bergman, you signed a 6-week ban. So you're saying federally, it's all going to go to the states.
Yes, and what is going to work in New York will never work in North Dakota.
I love
Vice
how
versa.
petty
That's
this
why
comment is, and I totally agree.
This is too important of an issue that I have to address. First of all, the Supreme Court gave it back to the elected representatives, whether it's the states or whether it's the United States Congress.
You know,
so there is authority.
time is
and that's
valuable,
why President
and I
Biden
resent
is
them
pushing
forcing
for
these
a
people on us
Democrat
that we have to sit
proposal,
here and
which is,
listen to them.
in essence, abortion on demand through the term. So they have their extreme position at a national level. I
don't know.
It's most likely going to be addressed in the
Something about
states, but
abortion.
it's certainly fine for it to be addressed at the national level as well. Arkansas has the record of being the most pro-life state in the nation. I signed 30 pro-life pieces of legislation while I was governor. And every state can determine a different outcome here. And it is the most
Is he buffering or is your computer
important issue
buffering? There
for
we go.
women and for the unborn
You needed
child
to
and
get
for
some new
our country
programming.
that we get this right. It's
They had
going to
to
be a
reboot 'em.
continued debate. Let's talk about it in terms of compassion, in terms of protecting the life, and also understanding how we have to enhance adoption services, how we have to enhance paternal care. Those things we've done in Arkansas and are important for our nation's future.
There are a lot of issues that are very important. Senator, I'll let you weigh in.
The question is if they'll
We
put a
cannot
6-week
let
ban.
states like California,
Hey, Sarah.
New York, and Illinois have abortions on demand up until the day of birth. That is immoral. It is unethical. It is wrong. We must have a president of the United States who will advocate and fight for, at the minimum, a 15-week limit.
I like that they're kind of turning it around on them and
conservative.
going on the
I'm
offense on
100%
this issue.
pro-life record. I got to tell you, though, we must fight for
Not Nikki Haley.
life. Our Declaration of Independence says our Creator gave us inalienable rights that include life. That is a list. That is an issue we must solve. We can't leave it to Illinois. We can't leave it to Minnesota. We can't leave it to Illinois. We must solve that issue with a 15-week limit at a minimum.
Brett, I think we're all pro-life, but what I would love is for someone to ask Biden and Kamala Harris, are they for 38 weeks? Are they for 39 weeks? Are they for 40 weeks? Because that's what the media needs to be asking.
All right, another issue is America.
This broad
and the
thinks
crime
she's the
crisis,
nominee
the
already.
homelessness crisis. American cities are in decline. People are moving out. as
You think?
homelessness, drugs, crime move in. There are problems accelerated. They did accelerate during the pandemic and are still rising, actually.
Murders in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, all up 30% between 2019 and 2022. Homelessness is up 11%, the largest jump in recorded history.
Truth
Vice
bomb.
President Pence, a lot of this began in the COVID era. How much of what we're seeing happening around this
COVID
country
era.
is a result of
You
those
mean the
COVID
communist
lockdowns?
era.
And is your administration
era.
in part to blame for how we got here?
Yes.
Well, I think what's in part to blame is the Democrats been talking about defunding the police for the last 5 years.
Really?
And we ought to be funding law enforcement, particularly in our
That wasn't
major
the
cities,
question.
at unprecedented levels. I mean, it's extraordinary to think about the violence that's claiming innocent lives literally every week in every major city in this country. And yet Democrats and liberal prosecutors in major metropolitan areas continue to work out their fanciful agendas, to do
fanciful.
bail reform and go easy.
Fanciful,
What we need
footloose, and
strong
fancy-free.
commitment to
Ah!
law enforcement. We need
He's
leadership
such a
in
fruitcake.
Washington, D.C. that'll marshal the resources of the states, marshal the resources of the American people. But let me also say it's about opportunity. I mean, a lot of people don't know that those Trump-Pence tax cuts that we got signed into law go away at the end of 2025 if we don't have a Republican president and a Republican House and a Republican Senate.
At
When
this
I'm
rate, I
president
don't
of the
know
United
about
States,
that.
we're actually going to cut taxes further. We're going to extend those tax cuts, and we're going to close the Federal Department of Education.
I'm sorry. Not that they're
block
not
grant all
important
that
and
funding
wonderful
back
and
to
all
the
that,
states
but
with a
if
growing
I never hear the
economy
word
and
tax
educational
cuts again
choice
from a Republican,
and
it
law
won't be too
enforcement, we
soon
will
because,
bring our
like,
cities
we
back.
have real
Governor
problems.
Christie, another issue. This
I want to
weekend,
hear who will
here in
prevent
Milwaukee,
these
reports say there
communist
were 30
psychopaths
shootings,
from taking
and a
over
number of them
Western
including
civilization.
kids. Add that to the big increase in school
And they're
shootings
fixated on,
around
oh,
the
will the
country.
tax rate
Democrats
be
blame this
2% lower?
crisis on
I don't
easier
care.
access to guns. They also blame Republicans for blocking gun control legislation. What would President Christie do?
What, Sarah?
You know, I'm proud of the fact, Brett, that I'm the only person, along with Governor Hutchinson, up on this stage who's actually running United States Attorney's Office. I ran the 5th largest office in America in a state where there is significant urban crime. And the problem is not going to be solved by more money. The problem is that these prosecutors
I would love that so
in
much.
these
That would
localities
never
in the
happen.
states are refusing to do their job and to arrest
would
violent
drive them too
criminals.
crazy.
So what a President Christie would do is appoint an attorney general who would instruct each of the 93 U.S. attorneys that they are to take over the prosecution of violent crime in every one of those cities that are failing to do so.
That even
We have plenty of room in the
constitutional?
federal prisons to lock up these violent criminals and clean up.
This
what's
guy would
going on
love to
all
be
across
little
this country
dictator.
in these
Well,
individual cities.
a big dictator.
Secondly, what we need to make sure that each and every one of these criminals
And not in a good way.
is that the laws apply to everybody. And when Hunter Biden fills out a fake application, a false application for a gun permit, and then is facing a 10-year mandatory minimum, which was mandated by legislation sponsored.
Maybe it's just me.
by
This
his
is probably like
father.
unpopular
And
opinion.
then you
But
have a
Hunter
Justice
Biden is
Department
another one
that
you can
walks
throw in
away
with
from
tax
those
cuts that I
charges.
just
We're
don't care.
telling
But like
people
it
that
is
the
what
laws
it
that
is.
apply to
Nothing's going to
everybody.
come of
In
it. He's
Christie's
never like.
administration, he would go to jail for
I don't
10
know. I
years.
just
What
want to
about
hear about
President
the things that
Ramaswamy?
really matter.
What does the President Ramaswamy do about
President
that?
So the
Ramaswamy.
reality is
I've
we
never
have
heard
crime
someone
wave in
say
this
that.
country, and we know how to fix it. The question is, do we actually have the spine to do it? More cops in the streets who are on the streets able to do their jobs without looking over their shoulder for getting sued. And we also have a mental health epidemic in this country. Just over the same period that we have closed mental health institutions, we have seen a spike in violent crime. Do we have the spine to bring them back? I think we should. As president, I will. But it's not just drugging up people in those psychiatric institutions with Zoloft and Seroquel. It's a deeper issue. I think faith-based approaches can play a role here too. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis. And I say this as a member of my generation. The problem in our country right now, the reason we have that mental health epidemic is that people are so hungry for purpose and meaning at a time when family, faith, patriotism, hard work have all disappeared. What we really need
God,
is a
I
total
hate that this
reset
guy
from the
is
top,
so
saying that this is what it means to be an
obviously
American.
winning by
Yes,
a
we will
mile.
stand for the
The
rule
debate,
of
I
law.
mean.
Yes, we will close the southern border where criminals are coming in every day. And yes, we will back law enforcement because we remember who we really are. And that's also how we address that mental health epidemic in the next generation that is directly leading to violent crime
Can I
across
speak
this
on behalf
country.
of the American
DeSantis,
people
really
here?
quickly. Governor DeSantis.
I was just going to say, where's
We don't have an
DeSantis?
identity crisis with that. We're not looking for a new national identity. The American people are the most faith-filled,
Oh,
idealistic,
fuck
hardworking
you.
people the world has ever known. We just need government as good as our people.
Well, Mike, I think the difference is
yeah.
some others like you may have on the stage. It's Morning in America speech. It is not Morning in America.
Yes.
We live in a dark moment, and we have to confront
Yes.
the fact that we're in an internal sort of cold cultural civil
You
war,
are
and we have to
equating the
recognize
American
that
people with the failed government in Washington.
Absolutely.
DC. We
Who
just need
voted for
government as
them?
good as our people again.
So I
Governor
guess
DeSantis,
I'm
you.
addressing that slogan because I don't know what that slogan
Brett,
means.
Mark,
We
I
need to
want you
shut
to
down
weigh
the
in, Governor
administrative
DeSantis.
state. Mark, that's actually how we translate.
Crime has been on the rise in Florida, Governor DeSantis. How do you stop?
Where?
crime?
Probably in
Actually, crime's at
Miami.
a 50-year low
Not
in
in-
Florida.
not in
We're
Miami.
happy with that. Well, the statewide, it's a 50-year low. And so here's the thing. These hollowed out cities, this is a symptom of America's decline. And one of the biggest reasons is because you have George Soros funding these radical left-wing district attorneys. They get into office and they say they're not going to prosecute crimes they disagree with. The inmates start running the asylum. There's one guy in this entire country that's ever done anything about that.
Oh, thank
Me.
you, Bobby.
When we had
Miss
two
you.
of these district attorneys in Florida elected with Soros funding who said they wouldn't do their job, I removed them from their posts. They are gone.
That's right.
As president, we are going to go after all of these people because they are hurting the quality of life and they are
That's good to know, by the
victimizing
way, 'cause we
innocent
are here.
people in every corner of this country, and it will stop when I get into office.
Okay, one more here before the break, Governor Bergen.
Don't look down. Look up.
But Brett,
Come
Mark, I
on.
just thought it was interesting. You asked your question about the problems we're having in big cities. Nobody ever asked the question of what about the crime wave in small towns? Because in a small town, neighbors help neighbors. People understand each other. If a farmer gets sick, everybody comes together and helps him get the crop off. There's accountability.
helps
There's
him get the
transparency.
crop off.
One thing that
I
this
think
country
Mike
could
Pence
use
can
is
help you
somebody
get
in
the
White
crop
House that
off.
understands small town values, because that's our
Yes,
road
sir.
back to get this country on track again.
Governor Hutchinson?
Mike Pence has some like
Was former head of the
BDSM energy.
DEA. I understand
Makes
the
me
drug
very
crisis in
uncomfortable.
America. And right now, whenever you look at the challenges in our inner city, there's three simple words.
I
that
don't
would be
trust
helpful.
anybody who has
One,
those beady
enforce
little
the law
eyes.
when it comes to crime. Secondly, let's deal with the challenge of fentanyl. And it's both about stopping the fentanyl coming from Mexico, but it's also about education of our young people, making sure that we have the tools that are needed for addiction counseling. That's what we expanded in Arkansas as well. Whenever you look at the underlying challenge of America, though, no one likes to see an America with smash and grab in our inner cities. As president of the United States, that will stop. It starts at the top with the respect for our justice system that a former president who's under indictment has undermined by attacking judges, by attacking prosecutors, by attacking the system and saying he's aggrieved. And so we have to have respect for our justice system and the rule of law.
100%.
And it starts at
That's
the
what it
top
is.
with the president of the United States.
Look at those eyes.
Let me take a break.
Please take a break.
So, speaking of that, right now you are looking live at Fulton County Jail, where former President Donald Trump will be processed tomorrow.
Holy
So next, the
shit.
candidates will have an opportunity
Can you
to
believe
talk
that?
about the coming trials of Donald Trump.
This is what pisses me off with Trump. Like, okay, wait, let me mute. This is what pisses me off. I was his biggest fucking supporter in 2020. I traveled the whole fucking country. I just wish to God that he wasn't running. He will not win. It's not good for him. It's not good for us. It's not good for anyone involved for him to be running again. I think it's okay to say he was the best person for 2016. He was the best person for 2020. And I think he is very clearly not the best person for 2024. Because, God, did you ever think in this country that you would see elected officials, one party locking up their political opponents? What did he do? He did, there was, other than bad judgment that he gave them the gun to shoot him with. But, because he should have known how evil these people are. But I really feel like we should be able to come together and stand up against this. This is what banana republics do. We should be able to all come together and stand up to the persecution that's happening. But just personally, that is very difficult to do in a way when faced with the prospect of having this weight shackled on us for the next election that he cannot win. There's no plan. I feel like, first of all, I honestly feel like he doesn't even want to be running. He doesn't. I think it's just like he feels like he has to, or he doesn't want to be the guy who lost to a corpse. I just wish he wasn't running, because up until 2020, he did do a lot of good things, and I feel like that's just all being erased now. It just makes me sad. I became a Republican because of him. And his entire legacy is being wiped away. He cannot. Especially seeing this debate, I was really hoping. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, it takes a turn. I think policy-wise, it should be DeSantis, but he is not doing great so far. Should we? So here's the question I want to ask: are we wrong about Vivek? Should we maybe be reconsidering him? Because I don't trust him. I think he's slimy as hell, but he's kicking ass tonight. There's no comparison. I'm waiting for it's going to get real ugly between him and DeSantis soon. Yeah, I agree. I lose more respect for him every day, because, it's really bumming me out, because all of the reasons that I left the left, I'm now seeing from the people supporting Trump. They were talking today about, Marjorie Taylor Greene posted debate bingo, and they're like, Ron supports slavery. I'm like, so you're just using Kamala Harris's talking points now? And, there's a real hypocrisy there that we've been saying all this time about these fucking basement-dwelling Democrats who don't have the balls to debate, who think they can just not be questioned and get away with it. Katie Hobbs, Joe Biden, and now he's doing it. And they're going back on everything that they've said for so long. Because since when did Republicans start trusting polls? Since when did Trump start trusting polls? So I don't buy the polls, but I think this is pretty important for DeSantis, and he's blowing it, right? And it pains me to say that. I so badly want him to succeed. He's blowing it thus far. Let me catch up on the chat. Sorry, I've been ranting so much. DeSantis is Spear executive. I'm also watching Vivek, him or DeSantis. Don't see another option. Yeah, I would just be nervous with Vivek that he gets in office and is a leftist. I like Vivek. He's the only one giving answers and steps on this is how we're going to reach out. He's not saying buzzwords. You know, I knew he's very well spoken, very smart. I didn't expect that he would be doing this well. I mean, and that the rest of them are so terrible. Oh my God. Nikki Haley makes my skin crawl. Ooh, are we back? Also, Sage, let us know the Trump update. Our Trump correspondent for this
GOP
evening.
Primary debate, policy discussions the Americans want to hear.
Also, if you feel so inclined, help support the channel and my grifting. Send in your super chat, your grift bucks.
But we are going to take a brief moment and talk about the elephant not in the room.
Former President Trump has been indicted in 4 different states on 91 counts. He will be processed tomorrow in Georgia at the Fulton County Jail for charges relating to the 2020 election loss.
You all signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
What kind of question is that? Oh, come on, DeSantis.
Did
he wait?
Hold on. So just be clear.
He waited to see what other
Kind of
people.
late to the game there, but you raised your hand.
No, I'm doing this. Look, I'm doing this.
And
not
I know
this.
you didn't.
Whoa. No, come. What's And the look,
That's such a bullshit
here's
question.
the
It's not
bottom
something
line.
we've ever been faced with.
Someone's got to stop normalizing this conduct. Okay? Now, and
Conduct.
now,
Notice
whether
that.
or not-
That is what he's being indicted for.
whether or not
Conduct.
You believe that the criminal charges are right or wrong. The conduct
You can't even say the
is
right. The
beneath
conduct.
the office of President of
Conduct
the United
is not
States.
a crime. That fuck.
And you know, this is the great thing about this country. Booing is allowed, but it doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change the truth.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you raised your hand supporting.
I'd like to get in and respond. Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Chris Christie, honest to God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man. And if people at home want to see a bunch of people blindly bashing Donald Trump without an iota of vision for this country, they could just change the channel to MSNBC right now. But I'm not running for president of MSNBC. I am running for president of the United States. We're skating on thin ice, and we cannot set a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization of justice in this country.
30 seconds, Governor DeSantis.
You know, let me take.
No, I'm sorry. 30 seconds, Governor
You
Christie.
make me laugh because
Goes both ways, brother.
you
That
sit
fight.
here in an answer. You sit here in an answer right.
Hold on one second.
You sit here in an answer.
Go ahead, Governor Christie.
Hold on, Governor Christie.
Hold on.
Well, so listen, the more time we spend doing this, the less time they can talk about issues you want to
Oh,
talk
shut
about.
up, you fucking
So
drama
let's just get
killer.
through this section. Governor Christie.
You sit here talking about how you want to stand up for the rule of law.
Yes.
And law and order. And the fact is that it can't be selective. In your book, you had much different things to say about Donald Trump than you're saying here tonight.
That's not true.
Well, it is very
Yes,
true.
it is true.
That's not
It's
true.
very true.
Yes,
I
it
read
is.
it,
Because
and
there's
I
a
know.
difference
Look,
between bad behavior and illegal
by the way,
behavior, Chris. And you as
by
a
the way,
prosecutor should know better.
Yeah, you know what? I know a lot
There's
better.
a difference between
I
bad
know,
behavior. And
I know a lot better than you do. You've never done it like you've never done anything to try to advance the interests of this government except to put yourself forward as a candidate tonight. And here's the thing. We've stood up for law and order. I did it as U.S. attorney. I did it as governor. And I am not going to bow to anyone when we have a president of the United States who disrespects the Constitution. He said,
your MSNBC contributor.
he said,
These are politicized indictments.
Martha,
We have to call out the truth.
Martha, it's important to say that the president said, Donald Trump said, it's okay to suspend the Constitution. Now, the oath you take is to preserve, protect, and defend, not suspend. I will always stand up for our Constitution, regardless of the political pressure.
We have another question for you. We're going to get everyone in on this issue, but I have another question. I have another question. Hold on, you will. All right. So President Trump's former vice president is on this stage tonight. He has faced hecklers on the campaign trail over his actions on January the 6th. On that day, the vice president moved forward with the certification. So do you believe that Mike Pence did the right thing, Senator Scott? Do you believe he did the right thing?
Absolutely. He did the right thing. Number one. Number two.
There was no other outcome.
We should
we all
be
hate Pence, but,
asking
like,
ourselves a
it was
bigger
over at that
question
point.
about the weaponization of the Department of Justice. When I'm president, the first thing I'll do is fire Merrick Garland. Second thing I'll do, fire Christopher Wray, because we need Lady Justice to wear a blindfold. Without that, no one has confidence
Get Nikki
in our
Haley, Lady
justice system.
Justice.
17% of Republicans have confidence in our Department of Justice. Here's why. We keep seeing
You guys,
not only
I can't with
the
you.
weaponization of the Department of Justice against political opponents, but also against parents who show up at school board meetings. They're called, under this DOJ, they're called domestic terrorists.
Firing Christopher
But that's not it. But that's not
shut
it.
down the FBI. Actually have the courage to get it right.
Mr. Ramaswamy.
Is DeSantis like even there? Wake up.
In addition to that, we see the SWAT team show up at pro-life activist homes with guns drawn because this DOJ uses their power, uses their authority, not just against political opponents, but against conservatives and conservative causes. It is time for a change in America, and I will bring that change to the greatest
Yes,
nation
we
on God's
can.
earth.
We have an important
But Governor
question still
DeSantis,
to
do you
answer.
believe that Mike Pence did the right thing on January 6th?
So here's what we need to do. We need to end the weaponization of these federal agents.
But that's not
I
the
will do
question.
that.
That's not the question.
I know, but here's the thing.
You can answer the
This
question?
election is not about January 6th of 2021. It's about January 20th of 2025 when the next president is going to take office. I know what the Democrats would like to do. They want to talk about all these other issues, but we've got to focus on your future. We've got to focus on reversing the decline of our country.
Right.
I learned in the military, I was assigned with U.S. Navy SEALs in Iraq, that you focus on the mission above all else. You can't get distracted. So Republicans, we've got to look forward and we've got to make sure that we're bringing the message that can win in November
Do not
2021.
answer the question. Do not answer the question.
Vice President Pence,
The mission of the President
what
of
do
the
you think,
United
Vice
States
President?
is to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. I think the American people deserve to know whether everyone on this stage agrees that I kept my oath to the Constitution that day. There's no more important duty. So answer the question.
I've answered this before.
So yes.
Why are we? Mike did his duty. I got no beef with him. But here's the thing: is this what we're going to be focusing on
I'm relieved.
going forward? The rehashing of this? I'll tell you,
Governor
the
DeSantis,
Democrats would love that,
we
and they
spent-
will win if we
Governor
let them get away
DeSantis,
with it. I'm not letting Biden hang out in the basement this side. We're going to run him ragged around this country, and we're going to hold him accountable.
let me just say, Governor
Oh,
DeSantis, we're spending
God,
more time on policy.
no.
Former President Trump is beating you by 30, 40 points in many polls. So it is a factor in the GOP primary. Governor Hutchinson, you did not raise your hand.
I did not raise my hand because there's an important issue we as a party have to face. And over a year ago, I said that Donald Trump was morally disqualified from being president again.
Oh, you're
what
one to
happened on
talk
January
morally
6th.
disqualified.
More
He's
people
probably
are
got 10
understanding the
fucking
importance of
bumads
that,
on the
including
side.
conservative
He's probably
legal
bopping
scholars who
sluts
says he
down
may
the
be
block, banging
disqualified
hookers.
under the 14th
It's
Amendment
always these
from being
beady
president
little-eyed
again
fucks
as a result
that are the
of the
biggest
insurrection.
perverts.
This is something that could disqualify him under our rules and under the Constitution. And so obviously, I'm not going to support somebody who's been convicted of a serious felony or who is disqualified under our Constitution, and that's consistent with RNC rules. And I hope everybody would agree with me.
We're going to get to a lot more time. We're going to move on. No, we're going to.
Martha, can I answer the question?
Can I get in on that?
Okay, I'd like to answer.
You have already been in on it, Vice President Pence.
All right, I'd like to answer the question you asked and not give a.
I'm having a fun time with y'all. This
Mike
is the best place
Pence
to be.
stood for the Constitution. And he deserves not grudging credit. He deserves our thanks as Americans for putting his oath of office and the Constitution of the United States before personal, political, and unfair pressure. And the argument that we need to have in this party before we can move on to the issues that Ron talked about is we have to dispense with the person who said that we need to suspend the Constitution to put forward his political career. Mike Pence said no, and he deserves credit for it.
Okay. Governor Haley, we have
Did nothing.
Do you agree? Do you agree that Vice President Pence did the right thing that day or not?
I do think that Vice President Pence did the right thing. And I do think that we need to give him credit for that. But what I will also tell you is, look, I mean, when it comes to whether President Trump should serve or not, I trust the American people. Let them vote. Let them decide. But what they will tell you is that it is time for a new generational conservative leader. We have to look at the fact that 3/4 of Americans don't want a rematch between Trump and Biden. And we have to face the fact that Trump is the most disliked politician in America. We can't win a general election that way.
It's true.
Governor Bergen.
It's Governor Bergen opportunity.
Happy to answer the question. Mike Pence did the right thing on January 6th. But I would say you started off the top of this hour saying we're going to talk about China, Ukraine, education.
We are.
China is
Oh,
the
Ukraine.
number one threat
We
to our
have to talk
country,
about
and every
Ukraine.
minute
God
that these
bless
eight
Ukraine.
candidates spend talking about the past instead about the future is time that is just you know who loves it? Biden loves it, but China loves it when we're talking about the past.
Okay, as promised, we were going to spend a few questions on it, let people say what they wanted to say, and now, indeed, we are moving on to the subject.
The U.S. has committed nearly 77.
Can I speak on this issue? I was
You
kind of
did
involved.
you answered on this.
You did say
answer.
something.
Yeah.
We thought you were done, but you
No, I
please.
wasn't done.
Well, Mike, why don't you say this? Join me in making a commitment that on day one you would pardon Donald Trump. I'm the only candidate on the stage who had the courage to actually say it. That is how we move our nation forward.
I
and
don't
turn the
know
page
that
forward. That's
Donald
exactly
Trump
right.
will be convicted of these crimes.
You should be able to make a commitment. The same justice system that was this
That's
corrupt.
the difference between you and me.
Yeah, I'm not a professional politician. That's the
I've
difference.
actually-
We can
Of course
make
he's
a
gonna be
question.
actually given
convicted.
pardons when I was governor of the state of Indiana. It usually follows a finding of guilt and contrition by the individual that's been convicted. So
Contrition?
if I'm president of the United States, we'll give fair consideration to any pardon request. But if I may,
What a scumbag.
You know, it's not about looking back at
But
January
who picked him?
2021.
Who picked him?
It's about January 20th, 2017.
Well, now
I
you're
put my
just
left hand on Ronald
plagiarizing.
Reagan's Bible. I raised my right hand.
Ugh!
And I took an oath
Jesus and
to support
Ronald
and defend the
Reagan!
Constitution of the United States.
Vote
And it
for
ended with
me!
a prayer. So help me God.
In the name of
It was
the
a promise
Father,
that I
the
made to the
Son,
American
and
people.
Ronald Reagan.
But I also made it to my Heavenly Father. Every day for 4 years, I sought to keep that oath. And everyone on this stage needs to make it clear whether or not they'll do the same if they earn this job and the confidence of the American people. Now, look, I've made it clear. I had hoped
How many
that
times
the
did he
issues
rehearse?
surrounding the 2020 election and the controversies around January 6th had not come to this, had not come to criminal proceedings. I would rather they had been resolved by the American people.
Breaking
And the
from
American
our
people
Trump
alone. But
correspondent.
no one's above the law. And President Trump is entitled to the presumption of innocence that every American is entitled to. And we will make sure and extend that to him. But the American people deserve to know that the president asked me in his request that I reject or return votes unilaterally, power that no vice president in American history had ever exercised or taken. He asked me to put him over the Constitution. And I chose the Constitution.
Hell yeah,
and I
Therese.
always will. I had no
Vice
right to
President Pence.
overturn the election, and Kamala Harris will have no right to overturn the election when we beat them in 2024.
Thank you, Vice President Pence. Now we are moving on to other issues.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The U.S. has committed nearly $77 billion in aid to the Ukraine war. The administration is now asking Congress for $24 billion more. Regardless
The audacity!
of
If
that,
only I had the
specifics of that
audacity
plan, is
of
there anyone on
Ukraine.
stage who would not support the increase of more funding to Ukraine?
We would
not
Europe,
support it.
Europe needs to step up. I mean, I would have Europe step up and do their job.
Yes,
Mr. Ramaswamy, but you're saying you would not too, Governor DeSantis?
I will have Europe pull their weight.
Yes or no?
Now they're not doing
You
that.
would not
And I
support
think
more
we need
funding?
to do, and I think our support should be contingent on them doing
Yes
it.
or
We have
no?
support in China to be able to take China and do what we need to do with China.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine?
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States of America. We are driving Russia further into China's hands. The Russia-China alliance is the single greatest threat we face. And I find it offensive that we have professional politicians on the stage that will make a pilgrimage to Kyiv, to their Pope, Zelensky, without doing the same thing for people in Maui or the south side of Chicago or Kensington.
Yes.
I think that we have to put the interests of Americans
I hate that
first.
I'm like so
Secure
pro
our
Vivek
border
right now
instead
because
of
I can't
somebody
stand him.
else's. And the reality is, this is also
I gotta be
how we
objective.
project strength
And he
by
says
making
we're
America
using
strong
soundbites.
at home.
Thank you.
All right, we
We're
heard
gonna go-
the names.
let's
Governor
go
Christie
to-
first.
All right.
Yeah.
Look, I did go to Ukraine, and I went to Ukraine because I
Same
wanted to
as
see
Esteban,
for
and
myself
we're both like
what
very
Vladimir
pro
Putin's army
DeSantis.
was doing to the free Ukrainian people. And let me tell you,
I'm just
I
trying
want
to
you
be
all to look
objective.
around this arena tonight and imagine that every one of these seats was filled. And if every one of them was filled, there would still be 2,500 more children outside to make over 20,000 who have been abducted, stolen, ripped from their mothers and
That's
fathers.
very
and
sad,
brought
but how
back to
many
Russia
kids are
to be
abducted
programmed
here?
to
How many
fight
people
their
are
own
fucking
families.
homeless here?
They have gouged out people's eyes, cut off their ears,
And you think
shot
MS-13
people in
isn't
the
doing
back
that
of the
here?
head,
When we have
men,
no more
and then got
abducted
into those
children
homes and raped
and homeless
the
veterans
daughters
and all of that,
and the
then we can
wives
worry
who were
about the
left
ones in
as
Ukraine.
widows and orphans. This is the Vladimir Putin.
Same, I
This is the
think,
Vladimir
Michael.
Putin who Donald Trump called brilliant and a genius. If we don't stand up against this type of autocratic killing in the world, we will be next.
Yup.
Governor Haley, we'll come back.
Vice President Pence was mentioned. You get 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, let me be clear. Anybody that thinks that we can't solve the problems here in the United States and be the leader of the free world has a pretty small view of the greatest nation on earth.
Oh, nobody wants to hear that greatest nation on earth shit right now. We've been through fucking hell for years now. Nobody wants to hear that.
If you're willing to fight the communists on your soil, we'll give you the means to fight them there so our troops don't have to fight them.
Let's talk about the communists here, you son of a bitch. That you're fucking, you and Trump fucking let spread their fucking scam to all of America. People died alone, you fucking
I want to
fruitcake.
let the Ukrainians fight and drive.
Now I'm
and the
pissed.
Russians back out into Russia.
I want to just
So our
briefly
troops
address
aren't gonna have
Pence.
to make that
Vice
fight.
President Pence. I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore. It fell back in 1990.
Did I say
The real
USSR?
threat. You talked about the communists, and the real
The
communists that we have to
USAR
face
is
right
the
now
problem.
is
Any idea what Vladimir Putin's aims
you
are?
already spoke. Now I actually have something to say.
Vladimir Putin has been saying he wants to reestablish the old Soviet sphere
You've made
of
your point,
influence.
Vice President.
Now,
Vice
if you
President
think,
Pence,
I'm sorry if I insulted him by calling him a communist. He is a dictator and a murderer. And the United States of America needs to stand.
I don't give a shit. I care about the communists here gaining more power every day.
The real threat we face today is communist China. And we are driving
That as
Russia
well.
further into China's arms. The Russia-China military alliance is the single
But see,
greatest
that's
threat we
different
face.
because that
Nobody
actually
in either political
affects us
party's talking
here.
about it.
It affects the supply chain. It affects inflation. It affects everything we fucking pay for.
Keep us out of war.
Manufacturing.
We can't hear Mr. Vice President.
Is to give Russia
Mr. Vice
everything
President.
they've got.
Mr. Vice President.
Give them a promise that Ukraine will never be in NATO, and then somehow.
Mr. Vice President.
Now, if
China
you
will
call me
not
that
think
again,
about
Sonny,
taking
I'm going to
Taiwan.
tie a battery
They
up to
achieve
my
peace
nipples.
through strength.
Mr. Vice President.
That's what mommy did to me.
Okay. Here we go.
I think we need to reestablish some ground rules
When
here,
we
folks.
hear this bell,
Yes.
that means your time's done.
You're done.
So, Mr. Vice
Should've
President, we
rang that
appreciate your
bell
aggressiveness here.
about 3
30
years
seconds
ago.
is 30 seconds. Mr. Ramaswamy, you were mentioned. You get 30 seconds.
So the reality is,
I don't know why his
that
name
today,
makes me laugh.
today, Ukraine is not a priority for the United States.
What are they
of
doing?
America. And I think that the same people who took us into the Iraq War, the same people who took us into the Vietnam War, you cannot.
That's right.
You cannot start another no-win war. And I do not want to get to the point where we're sending our military resources abroad when we could be better using them here at home to protect our own borders. Protect the
don't say
homeland.
that,
All right, that
Maddie.
will be my top priority in foreign
I think
policy.
we gave you
We
the
can
2 minutes
improve.
and the 30
Homeland.
seconds in the rebut. So I do want to
We'll
get to some
talk.
other people because everybody, we respect everybody's
Agree.
time here. So, Governor Haley, you did not raise your hand, meaning that you would support more funding for the Ukraine war. You have
More
said to
fucking.
Governor
Why
DeSantis
don't just
that,
take everything?
you didn't
What do they want? Do you want an
appreciate
arm? Do
initially
you want an arm?
called it
Take an
a
arm. What do you
territorial
want?
Dispute. Why?
First of all, the American president needs to have moral clarity.
More
they need
money.
To know the
Here,
difference
here.
between right and wrong.
Zelensky,
They need
here.
to know the
Take
difference
it.
between
Take
good and
it.
evil.
Take
When
every
you look
fucking
at the situation with Russia and Ukraine,
Here's the
here
debit
you
card.
have a
Take my debit
pro-American
card.
country that was invaded by a thug. So when you want to talk about what has been given to Ukraine, less than 3.5% of our defense
I was
budget has
I was
been
thinking
given
that
to
same
Ukraine.
thing, Michael. But
If you
in
look at the
fairness, it's not
percentages
like
per
he's done
GDP,
a whole lot when he
11
has
of the
spoken.
European countries have given more than the U.S. But what's really important is go back to when China and Russia held hands, shook hands before the Olympics, and named themselves
Zelensky
unlimited
just needs
partners.
to bend
A
over.
win
We'll
for
put
Russia
dollar
is a win
bills
for
in his
China.
fucking little
We have to know that
pantyhose.
Ukraine is the first line
What?
of defense for us. And the problem that Vivek doesn't understand is he wants to hand Ukraine to Russia. He wants to let China eat Taiwan. He wants to go and stop funding Israel. You don't do that to friends.
Those
What
three
you do
wars
instead
she
is you
wants to
have the
start.
backs of your friends. Ukraine is the front
God,
line of
she is
defense.
the worst.
Putin has said, once Russia takes Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. That's a world war. We're trying to prevent war. Look at what Putin did today. He killed Prigozhin. When I was at the UN, the Russian ambassador suddenly died. This guy is a murderer, and you are choosing a murderer over
A lot of murderers here too.
First of all,
You guys only saw what the Upper West Side looks like now.
Nikki, I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
I'm not on the
fact of the matter,
and Raytheon, and you know,
Boeing
you
came off of it, but you've been pushing this lie.
Stage,
You've been pushing this
you
lie all week,
want
Nikki.
to go and defund Israel. You want to
Okay,
give
let me
Taiwan
address
to
that. I'm
China.
glad you brought that up.
Go and give
I'm going to
Ukraine
address
Russia.
each of those right now. This is the false lies of a professional politician. There you have it.
Your watch,
So the
you will
reality
make
is,
America less safe. You have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
and you know what? The foreign policy experience that you all have shows in the pointless wars we've gotten into. I have to address that. So our relationship with Israel will never be stronger than by the end of my first term. But it's not a client relationship. It is a friendship. And you know what friends do? Friends help each other stand on their own two
Rich,
feet.
it's
so I will
horrible.
lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear armed. But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough on crime policies. I love that they have a national identity and an iron dome to protect
Israel ain't having none of that shit.
The friends that we're supporting. And what puzzles me is I want to learn from those and apply those to protect our homeland, Mickey.
Israel needs America. America needs Israel.
Okay,
They
Governor
are
DeSantis,
What?
DeSantis, you were mentioning the territorial dispute. Not only
No, it's not a territorial dispute.
President of the United States, your first obligation is to defend our country and its people. And that means you're sending all this money, but you're not doing what we need to do to secure our own border. We have tens of thousands of people who are being killed because we're not handling both. And so I am going to declare it a national emergency. I'm not going to send troops to Ukraine, but I am going to send them to our southern border. When these drug pushers are bringing fentanyl across the border, that's going to be the last thing they do. We're going to use force, and we're going to leave them stone cold dead.
we're actually going to move on to China. We're going to talk about China.
Okay.
Governor Burgum, China has the biggest
I know.
navy in the world,
It's
the biggest
maddening.
army in the world. Now they have warships off the coast of Alaska. They are threatening Taiwan. In coming years, China will have 1,500 nuclear warheads, it's believed. The U.S. just arrested 2 sailors accused of spying for China within our military. So the question is, how would you deter China as a president, Burgum?
Well, this is the number one issue we're facing. And of course, we haven't been talking about it. And we act like that letting Russia win in the Ukraine is like a gimme as opposed to a gift to China. Russia has become China's gas station.
Why are we even
But
listening?
how would
Like,
we do
nobody
it?
cares.
The Biden administration is a complete fail.
He needs a little bit of a facelift.
Imports
because
10 million barrels
those
of
jowls
oil
are
a day
sagging.
more than any
Let's
other
face
country in the world. They do not even have all the food they need to feed everybody in that country. So they don't have energy security or food security. But the Biden administration sends Blinken, Yellen over there. They're over there.
I'm
They don't
jealous.
even bring up energy.
I never
because
eat junk
they're too
food,
busy
and I
trying
just
to
went
kill the
and
U.S.
bought
energy
a whole
here.
bunch of junk
And
food.
what we need to do is not meetings, not press releases, because something that would send a lot more than a press release is actually harpoon missiles. We need
I keep eating
anti-ship
like this. I'm
missiles
gonna
on
fucking look like
Taiwan.
Chris Christie.
The way that you have a war never start, which is the goal, the way you have peace through strength is that you actually have strength. You actually have deterrence. And what we have in what we've got going on in Ukraine is an example of when deterrents fail. What is an example there of Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan? The fact that he greenlighted Putin moving into Ukraine,
That is
and then now
very
they see
mean to
weakness,
Eugene
and when they see
Levy.
weakness, they make a move. And we have to be strong, and we have to be strong both in Ukraine, and we can solve the southern border. Absolutely, we
It
can do
looks
that.
like somebody's
Because
wearing a
guess what?
Gavin
There's
Newsom
only
Halloween costume.
19,855 authorized people for the Border Patrol, but they're not all staff because the Biden
Where's
administration
mine
doesn't
too?
enforce law enforcement. The Biden administration wanted to put
take an eyebrow raiser to them
87,000
before.
people in the IRS as opposed to giving the money in this fort we need to our own Border Patrol.
Okay. Senator Scott on China, that same question.
Oh, I want to be Florida man so badly.
Let's fire the 87,000 IRS agents and hire double
Millicent?
the number of Border Patrol agents. I just left
Don't mean
Yuma, Arizona about 2 weeks ago. The most pressing need of
He's
the
a nice
American
man.
people from a national security standpoint is our
I don't know why
southern
he's
border.
there. He's
It
out of
has
the
led
league,
to the
but-
death of 70.
I feel like I've read things
Americans because of
done
fentanyl.
that I didn't like. I don't
Plus,
remember what it
6
was, but
million
he's
illegal
a very nice
crossings
man, I
since
will say.
President Biden has taken office, and 200 people on our national security watch list have been caught at our border. How many have not been caught at our southern border? If we just spend $10 billion, we could finish the wall. For $5 billion more, we could have the
Jerry Orbach.
military-grade technology to surveil our southern border
Alan.
to stop the flow of fentanyl and save 70.
Oh, of course the Democrats won't, because this is all by design. I was going to say this before.
Priority of this
the people, and I'm
government
surprised
as
that
the
Trump,
next president of the
Sage said
United
that Trump
States,
had said
I
this.
will make
The
that
people who
border
say
wall
that Biden won't run
Many
again
more questions on
have
China.
no
I do wanna-
concept of what is
I
happening.
want to say I couldn't
No
agree more.
concept.
It's not
He
just
was
the 70,000
selected
for fentanyl. We've lost 200,000 people to overdoses
because
since
he's a
Biden took office. That's 300 people a day. We're taking mass casualties, and that's a statistic. But these are sons and daughters, nieces and nephews that we're losing.
Sir, this is a
We've got North Dakota
Wendy's.
troops down there flying night helicopter missions from San Diego to the Gulf Coast, trying to stop these transnational criminal organizations. They've got better funding on their side than we've got on our side.
Speaking of which, Governor Hutchinson, images from earlier this month, Governor Hutchinson,
with Mexico,
Vice President Pence, images from earlier this month.
Oh, why?
So
You
Vice
guys
President Pence,
need
it
to
really
stop
doesn't
talking
help.
about
I'm asking
cookies
a question.
on
Earlier
my streams
this
because
month,
then I start wanting cookies.
Images showed suspected cartel members crossing into Texas with rifles. Do you consider this an invasion? Would you authorize lethal force along that border?
There would be lethal force used by the Border Patrol, law enforcement as needed to protect the border.
I
Absolutely.
see this
When
man's
you look at the
face,
military,
and I see
the
Lucifer.
military has to be used for intelligence gathering purposes. This is not
I
unusual.
mean, that's not a person.
Whenever
That's
I was in the Bush
Pazuzu. That's a demon.
administration, we went down there and met with President Vicente Fox of Mexico and asked his help in going after the cartels. And he looked at me and said, they're a problem to us as well. And so we joined together and we took down the Ariana Felix brothers leading the Tijuana
May I
cartel,
point
and
out
that
once
made a
again
difference. Ramon was
that
shot
I
and
am
killed,
merely
and Ben
like
was captured.
the supporting
Cooperation
character
makes
on
a
this
difference.
channel.
We cannot be
The chat
successful
is
going
Diana
against
Ross.
the cartel.
I am merely the
unless
Supremes.
we bring in
chat,
Mexico as a
guys
partner. We have to use economic
can't with
pressure
you
to
guys.
accomplish that. President Obrador has not been helpful, and we have to use economic pressure that this administration is not using. The rule of law has to matter on both sides of it.
Okay.
This is critical. I've done it. We know what needs to be done.
Who's the
the
Tiffany
military
lady?
has to be limited in its use. When after
Tiffany lady.
9/11, we had the global war on terror, and guess what?
He said the
We
secret
protected
word
the
of the
border at
day.
the same time.
9/11.
You
Everybody
can do both.
drink.
Okay, let's go to Governor DeSantis.
It's about
So,
goddamn
as president,
time.
Would you support sending U.S. Special Forces over the border
Yes,
into Mexico
Rich.
to take out fentanyl labs, to take out drug cartel operations? Would you support that kind of American military use?
Yes, and I will do it on day one. Here's the thing. The cartels are killing tens of thousands of our fellow citizens. You want to talk about a country in decline? You have the cartels controlling a lot of part of your southern border. We have to reestablish the rule of law, and we have to defend our people. The President of the United States has got to use all available powers as Commander-in-Chief to protect our country and to protect the people. So when they're coming across, yes, we're going to use lethal force. Yes, we reserve the right to operate. How many more tens of thousands are we going to let to die? I am sick. I've met angel moms throughout this country. I met a lady in Texas named Tracy, and her son took one Percocet that was laced with fentanyl, immediately died. That is happening all across this country because of the poison that they are bringing in. So as president, would I use force? Would I treat them as foreign terrorist organizations? You're darn right I would.
You know, Vice President Pence.
You know, like I like what
Vice
he's
President
saying.
Pence, why would you be better at this issue than Governor DeSantis? Governor DeSantis on the campaign trail refers to your administration as not finishing the wall.
Right.
No shit.
Look, we secured the southern border of the United States of America and reduced illegal immigration and asylum abuse by 90%. When Joe Biden took over, he
Fact
threw
check on
open
that,
the southern border of the United States, and the wave of humanity, the wave of fentanyl that's been eloquently described here is a wave of human tragedy across this country. But Martha, you began this evening talking about who is best prepared to be the next president of the United States.
And eloquently described
I have to tell you,
as
with all
human
humility,
tragedy.
I was there when we negotiated through the government shutdown and got the funding available to build the wall. I was negotiating on Capitol Hill around the clock. I negotiated the Remain in Mexico policy on behalf of the President of the United States. And AC, you're so right. It's because we used economic pressure to bring the Mexicans.
Two of them are going to go play
and
with
they
each
allowed
other's
us
willies
to
backstage
have people
after.
wait in Mexico while they applied for asylum and ended asylum abuse overnight. We got the Mexicans to deploy their National Guard to their southern border and to our southern border as never before. And I want to promise you, as President of the United States of America, I will
You're not going to
engage
be the president
Mexico
of the
the
United States
exact
of America,
same
bitch.
way, and we will partner with the Mexican military, and we will hunt down and destroy the cartels that are claiming lives in the United States of
Okay,
America.
thank you. Another issue that is related to
You're a
this
tough guy now.
is that almost 7 million migrants have crossed this border, our southern border, during the Biden administration. So, Governor Christie, what would you do about the 7
Intentionally
million
and by
who are
design.
here? How would you handle them? What would you do?
Look, Martha, the first thing we need to do is to stop any more from coming. That's the first thing we need to do. Then the next thing we need to do with the folks that are here is to, again, as we've talked about all night tonight, we have to have law and order in this country. We have to enforce the law. And what that means is to make sure that people who come here illegally are not rewarded for being here illegally. We have so many wonderful people
happening
from
in
around
New
the
York.
world who are waiting in line, following the law to try to come here and pursue the American
I
dream.
think that's a pretty good
And those
summary
people
so
are
far.
waiting and waiting and waiting because we haven't dealt with the problem of the folks who are here. We have to have them detained. We have to make sure that they are not rewarded for having broken the law. And one last thing on this fentanyl issue. With
It should
China,
really
we
just
can't
be
take our eye off of that ball.
DeSantis and
yes,
Vivek
it's important
debate.
that we secure the border. Very important, as I just said.
I mean, it
But
has to be one
China
of them.
is sending these chemicals to these drug cartels for them to create the fentanyl that is killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens. The Chinese are engaging in an act of war against us, killing our citizens. We better make that priority one in our conversations.
People
with
like
China
him are so
and to try to
disgusting
straighten that relationship out.
even
Because
when
if
I
we
agree
don't,
with what
we're
they're
gonna lose
saying, I'm
more
not
and more of our
interested.
I just want to
citizens.
clarify. Would you send those people back?
Of course. You'd have to.
We have a lot
Yeah, I
of
agree,
issues that
Chris.
Americans care about.
What Lindsay
Next
had
up,
said
we're
that,
going
you know,
to
I
talk
think
about
the
the
difference
crisis
with
in
RFK is
education.
he's not a
as
communist.
millions of American children are not proficient in reading or math. After this.
Yeah, they're too busy learning about like fucking pansexual, non-binary queers. Of
Do
course
you
they're
trust
not
our government
proficient
and
in
where the
reading and
economy is
math.
heading? Does the
Stupid fuck. Oh my God. This is very frustrating so far. So this is my big takeaway so far. This whole time I have been emphatic on Vivek is so slimy, is so untrustworthy, is so full of shit. Am I wrong? Because I'm wondering if maybe I should be a little more open-minded and consider that maybe he's not. Because if, and I'm not saying this would be the case, we don't know. If he were sincere about the things that he's saying, if he would do the things that he says he would do, he's by far the best person running at this moment. I'm so disappointed in DeSantis. I can't even with DeSantis. I full on white chick cannot even. Oh my God. He looks like Biden looks like the fucking grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre who needs to eat blood to survive. Sorry, let me catch up. Well, I'm wondering if I've maybe been wrong because, I mean, it's not even close. This isn't a debate. It's just Vivek whipping all of them. I mean, he is just in another league than all of them. And I truly, look at the thumbnail for this thing. I truly did not expect to be saying that right now. I'm shocked. I'm so disappointed in DeSantis. Like the things he's saying are okay, not great, but okay. But it's the presentation. He just looks like he's looking down and he looks uncomfortable. And you know, there's going to be a lot of these debates. a lot of times, you know, Trump was awful in his first debate. Obama was awful in his first debate. Reagan was awful in his first debate. So that's kind of like a pattern. So I'm hoping he'll get better, but I'm hoping people will be honest. We'll talk about this after because I got a lot of shit to say about this, how full of shit all these people online are. I don't think people who support DeSantis are going to be honest about this. I think they're going to say what a great job he did, and he's not doing a great job in any way, shape, or form. He is not doing a great job. He needed to stand out with this. Oh my God. And Nikki Haley is just, oh my God. She is horrible. Why do you feel his cockiness and smarminess disqualifies? I don't, it's not that. I just think he's full of shit. Or I have thought he's full of shit. Now I'm thinking maybe I should reconsider that. Because where I'm at, for me, honestly, I'm sorry, I know this is an unpopular opinion with some people. Trump is just not an option. We will lose. I promise you we will lose. I've never been so sure of anything in my life. So maybe I'm wrong about Vivek. Because he's been fucking spectacular in this debate. I'm shocked at DeSantis. I really thought he has smart people around him. He would know how crucial it is to really stand out, be aggressive, go on the offense.
Was the weakest ever for American school children, exposing chronic absenteeism, deep declines for reading and math for 15-year-olds and 13-year-olds. Governor DeSantis, you would eliminate, you said, the Department of Education.
Amazing as a
but
governor.
as president, would you still have a responsibility to fix this crisis as we see it?
Absolutely. The decline in education is one of the major reasons why our country is in decline. We need education in this country, not indoctrination in this country. And in Florida, we stood up for what was right. First, we had schools open during COVID, and a lot of the problems that we've seen are because these lockdown states lock their kids out of school for a year and a half. That was wrong. We stood up. I took a lot of fire for that. I was pilloried by the media, but I stood for our kids. And as president, I'll stand for you and your kids as well. But we have to make sure that what our schools are doing is focusing on solid academics. In Florida, we eliminated critical race theory from our K through 12 schools.
Yes, you did.
We eliminated gender ideology from our K through 12 schools. And we have elevated the importance of American civics in teaching our kids about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. As president, I'm going to lead an effort to increase civic understanding and knowledge of our Constitution. We cannot be graduating students that don't have any foundation in what it means to be an American.
Mr. Ramaswamy.
See, that's what I like about him. He understands the little things.
You've said
that brought
that
us here.
The Department of Education, the FBI, the ATF, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the IRS, the Department of Commerce, many of these should not exist.
That's correct.
So to the education question, how would you deal with the crisis?
So look, we have a crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education.
John, I'm so
Take
torn.
that $80 billion, put it in the hands of parents across this country. This is the civil rights issue of our time. Allow any parent to choose where they send their kids to school. End the teachers' unions at the local level to allow public schools to compete. And then revive our national identity where every high school senior should have to pass the same civics test that, frankly, every immigrant, including my mother, had to pass in order to become a citizen of this country. And the fact of the matter is, look, there's a part of education policy that also rests with the family. I didn't grow up in money, but you know the word privilege gets used a lot. Well, you know what? I did have the ultimate privilege of two parents in the house with a focus on educational achievement. And I want every kid to enjoy that. So part of the problem is we also have a federal government that pays single women more not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house, contributing to an epidemic of fatherlessness.
Larry Elder
and I
were
think
there.
that goes hand in glove with the education crisis as well, because we have to remember education starts with the family, and the nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind.
So, Governor Burgum, Governor Haley has said
I agree.
Governor Haley has said that biological boys playing in girls' sports is the women's issue of our time.
Oh, I
You
thought
said
she
that
said
even
the
though you signed a ban on this in North Dakota, that there hadn't been one instance where it was actually needed. Are you saying that you think that too much is made of this issue?
No, I'm saying in North Dakota, we made a priority of protecting women's sports, and we've done that in our state.
Can we just
but I
put
would
him on mute?
absolutely do that. But I do think when we start talking about education and we think that we're going to have a federal government one size fits all, we're just completely losing track of the fact that education differs by state.
In what universe does this man get on stage over Larry Elder?
So, but the idea that every school district, state, and every teacher is somehow indoctrinating people is just false. You know, when I was building a company from scratch, with small town kids, and we went, grew up in a town of 300, but we built a global company in 132 countries with over 100,000 customers.
This idea
We
so
listened to
much.
those customers. We spent time with them. We talked to them. We did that. And as governor, well, education is one of the biggest part of the state budget. So as a governor, I shadow a student. I don't, the night before I find out the students.
Shadow a
I'm going to go to
student
every
as
class
governor?
with them. I don't sit and lecture school districts how to do it.
Check
I
his
go and
hard
see the
drive.
experience. And there's a lot of things that have to change. But what needs to change in education is it's innovation. We're doing it the same way we did it 50 years ago with innovation, not regulation. I would get rid of the Department of Education. I would give block grants to schools, but I'd give them on merit based on who's doing the most innovative. I just got done holding the 7th annual Governor's Conference on Innovation Education. You should see what the people are doing when you cut loose the red tape, get the burden off their back. They care. Teachers in this country, the vast majority of them care about those kids. They're working in low-paying jobs, and they're fighting for those kids and their families.
You said that this is the women's issue of our time.
First, I'll tell you, as a parent, the one thing you want is for your child to have a better life than you did. And we can talk about all of these things, and there's a lot of crazy woke things happening in schools, but we've got to get these kids reading.
Oh my
if a child
God.
can't read by 3rd grade, they're 4 times less likely to graduate high school. So we need to make sure we bring in reading remediation all over this country. We need transparency in the classroom because parents should never have to wonder what's being said or taught to their children in the classroom. Parents need to be deciding which schools their kids go to because they know best. And let's put vocational classes back into the high schools. Let's teach our kids to build things again. When we do that and we allow that innovation, that's when it'll get back. And yes, I will always say I'm going to fight for girls all day long because strong girls become strong women.
Strong women! There's the other secret word of the day. Everybody drink.
Another point of education.
Oh my God, I got to tell you guys what happened today after
To you, Vice President. So this is a lightning round of questions.
There's a
30-second
lightning
answers,
round?
please.
Thank you, Ross Geller.
President Biden will be 82 years old on Inauguration Day. Nearly 70% of Americans say that he is too old to serve. Should presidents have to pass a mental and physical test in order to serve Vice President Pence?
Taxi drivers need to.
Well, it might be a good idea to have everybody in Washington, D.C. pass a mental and 30 seconds. No, the American people can make those judgments. But let me say,
you
I'm
would
running for
say
president
no.
of the United States because we don't need a president who's
Hey,
too old,
Herman Munster over
and
here.
we don't need a president who's too young. We need a president who's been there. We need a president who knows how Congress works, how the White House works.
They're booing this bitch
how
for
states
every
work,
word
and on
he
this
says,
education
and I
issue,
love
Martha,
it.
I was fighting against No Child Left Behind when Republicans were doubling the Department of Education. I'll also shut down the federal Department of Education. And when I was governor, we doubled the size of the largest school choice program in America. And we'll give school choice to every family in America when I'm in the White House.
This is a lightning round, Mr. Ramaswamy. I think you were mentioned there. You're 38. You're the youngest on the stage. You've said, and you just said, you want a civics test or public service for those under 25 to be able to vote. So the question is, do you want a mental acuity test for presidents over 75?
I believe in the people of this country to tell the difference between somebody who's an automaton and somebody who's actually a thinking agent in the White House, which we don't have in there today. And I will tell you, I want to address Vice President Pence's comment. I think we do need somebody of a different generation to lead this nation forward. Look at the way I've run this campaign. Going to the south side of Chicago, to Kensington, in the middle of Philadelphia, where traditional Republican candidates don't go. We have an opportunity to build a multi-ethnic working class majority to deliver a landslide. And I think I'm the only candidate in this race, young or old, black or white, to bring all of those voters along to deliver a Reagan 1980 revolution. We're going to do it in 2024.
Same question here,
How can you never vote in a presidential election until 20?
I will answer that. I will answer that.
30 seconds.
30 second quick answer.
You guys need to get control of this debate.
Everybody's going to get
You have to get
Listen,
control
we're
of
getting
this debate.
control of the debate. This is a lightning round, not rolling thunder.
Oh,
Governor
fuck
Hutchinson,
you.
You have 30 seconds on the same question.
On education, first of all, look at Arkansas. We have to compete with China. I built computer science education. We led the nation in computer science education, going from 1,100 students to 23,000 students taking it. This is how you compete with China. As President of the United States, I will make sure we go from 51% of our schools offering computer science to every school in rural areas and urban areas offering computer science for the benefit of our kids, and we can compete with China in terms of technology.
Thank you, sir. This is going to go to this is coming to you. We're trying to do a quick round of different topics here. So, Senator Scott, faith is on decline in this country. You talked about it a little bit before tonight.
Where's Mike Pence?
So, is there a role for a president of the United States in changing that? What would you do to change that?
Well, our nation was founded upon the Judeo-Christian values that has made this the greatest nation on God's green earth. I'm a big believer in Ephesians 3:20 that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or imagine. Our responsibility should be to model the behavior we want others to follow. On education, the only way we change education in this nation is to break the backs of the teachers' unions. They are standing in the doorhouse of our kids, locking them into failing schools and locking them out of the greatest future they could have.
As President, Governor DeSantis, would you support some mandatory military service for all Americans?
I think it should be voluntary. I'm somebody that volunteered to serve, inspired by September 11th, and I deployed to Iraq alongside U.S. Navy SEALs in places like Fallujah, Ramadi. And it's something that I think has taught me, you know, when you go in that type of environment, anything you have, your personal agenda, you check it at the door. You go there, and it's about focusing on the mission above all else. And guys come together, and they get it done. And that's how I would view being the president of the United States. It's not about me. It's not about all these other side issues.
She definitely does,
sole
Georgia.
Focus will be on your future and reversing this country's decline.
Okay, now for something a little out of this world, and this is for you.
Oh, no.
Governor Christie, do you believe that the recent spike in UFO encounters
they're going to get whimsical.
question? Yeah, you do. Come on, man. But okay, we've been hearing a lot of testimony in Congress,
cave
and people are taking this a lot more seriously.
with Osama.
And we're hearing that, you know, there are things going on that people
9/11.
So, if you were president, Governor Christie, would you level with the American people about what the government knows about these possible
Martha,
encounters?
and especially coming from a woman from New Jersey, I think it's horrible that just because I'm from New Jersey, you asked me about unidentified flying objects and Martians. We're different, but we're not that different. Look,
is that a Jersey thing?
The job of the President of the United States is to level with the American people about everything.
Oh my
The job
God!
of the
I
President of
hate
the United States
so
is
much.
to stand for truth. The job of the President of the United States is to be a role model for our children and our grandchildren. And so whether it was UFOs or this problem of education, and Tim's right, by the way, and I started this in 2010 by going right after the teachers unions in New Jersey and drove them down to an all-time low popularity rating because they were putting themselves before our kids. That is the biggest threat to our country, not UFOs.
Okay. Well, coming up, we've got closing arguments. Plus, right after the debate, Hannity is live from the spin room right
He's
here
another beauty.
at the Fiserv Forum with reaction from all the candidates.
I can't stand him
as soon
either.
As they step off the stage, we'll be back after this.
Well,
Do
before
you trust our government
we
and
get
where
ranting,
the economy is heading?
let's have a
Does
quick
the thought
word
of
from our
losing your
sponsor.
hard-earned retirement savings to DC's reckless spending scare the heck out of you? Well, you're not alone. Smart Americans are taking action while they still can by
It's time for my grifting. Give me all your money. Don't just be a drifter. Help me be a grifter.
Fuck you, pay me.
So, oh my God, we have the perfect image for that. So if you guys like my stuff, I have some epic shows coming up that I'm very excited about. Subscribe to my locals, become a channel member so we can be like the dude with 2 dicks and have multiple members. Send us your super chats in my quest to be a grifter. I'm only an aspiring grifter. I'm trying to go full-time grifter. So send us your grift bucks. Let me tell you something. I maybe it might be over already. Potentially have a date with the hottest guy, and then I found his social media, and it's like pronouns, BLM, Kamala Harris, rainbows, queer. Why is it always these fucking guys who look manly that have all the rainbows and the queer? I can't stand it. I found his TikTok and I clicked on it, and then I remembered TikTok shows you who looked at your profile. So I haven't heard from him since then. He might have found mine too, and that's the end of it. But oh, it's so disappointing. Let me get you in the chat. See, I would be down to, like, you know, date a crazy leftist and we can argue, but they, you know, there's mutual respect, but that don't exist with leftists. That is not possible. Oh my God. Flying objects are the only thing left on Earth that don't identify as anything. That was epic. Whew, I can't believe that's the whole debate. And that's all, you know? Vivek is the only person on stage who looks like he's trying to win. Which I didn't expect to say because I did not think that he's running to be president. I think he's running for VP. But that might change after tonight. I don't know. I'm shocked at DeSantis. I'm really shocked. I'll wait to fucking go off. I got notes. I will wait to go off until after this last segment, but people are going to pay attention to what people who support every candidate are going to say about this debate, because people are going to be so fucking full of shit with this. Who do you think is winning the debate? Oh, wait. He does not make upset. Maybe. Leftists don't like park dates. Thank you, Lindsay. I thought I was the only one who likes park dates. I was looking for it. Go to Galveston, Texas. See, if I were moving somewhere just to like get some, well, I don't mean to get some, to like, you know, find my future husband, I would move to Texas. Every time I'm in Texas, I meet some guy like, Yeah, I agree. And the two of us are have been very, very pro DeSantis. I don't know that there is a second. I honestly don't think there is a second. I mean, Pence has been very aggressive, but we all hate him. Everyone hates him. He could say the weather report and he'd get booed. So it's interesting that, okay, wait, we'll go back to it and then we shall rant.
In Simi Valley, California, we'll see you there next month when our
Simi Valley
host the next 2024 showdown.
Fox Business is partnering with Univision, the Reagan Foundation, and Rumble to bring you the second Republican presidential debate on September 27th. It looks pretty nice there. 20 years ago, 70% of American adults said they were extremely proud to be an American. That number has now plummeted to just 39%.
Oh, this question was made
in his pitch
for
to get to the Oval Office, President Reagan called America the shining city on a hill, a beacon of hope and optimism.
So in your closing statement tonight, please tell American voters why you are the person who can inspire this nation to a better day. These are 45 seconds, and we begin with Governor Burgum.
I understand why America's hurting. Biden's inflation is choking us. I grew up in a small town. My dad died when I was a freshman in high school.
I'm
My
sorry
mom,
for your
widow of
loss.
3, went back to work.
Other than that, no one
Every
cares.
job I had growing up was one where I took a shower at the end of the day, not at the beginning of the day. Our cities are less safe because of the fentanyl pouring into this country. Our economy is being crushed by Biden's energy policies, which are raising the cost of every product.
Who are
buy,
you?
Not just the gasoline.
Had
at the pump.
anybody ever heard, unless you're
One
from
thing
North
that I'll do
Dakota,
as president,
had
I'll
anybody
secure
ever
the
heard
border.
of this
I'll
person
get this
before
economy
today?
sprinting, not crawling like it is right now. And I would say that other thing is for sure, when I'm on a horseback in the Badlands of North Dakota, it looks like the horizon is just limitless. And when you can almost see beyond that horizon, you can see that this great country, our future
What
is
a
unlimited.
horrible
So
time
we've
for
got to
the
focus
belt
on
to come
innovation,
in.
not regulation. We've got to cut the red tape. We got to drive ourselves forward. The way we win the Cold War with China is by growing our economy and through
Right
innovation.
out in a
And
small
as president, I will bring out the best of America. I will improve every American life.
Well, we hope you're back on your horse soon, Governor.
Oh my God.
Governor
He
Hutchinson.
will be.
Our nation is in trouble, and it's in trouble because of failed leadership.
It's
And
in
the
trouble
solution
because
is
of
not 4 more
communist
years of
fucks
Joseph
like
Biden.
you.
The solution is not 4 more years of Donald Trump. The solution is new leadership that can bring bold ideas to America and to bring out the best of America. A president's #1 responsibility is to bring out the best of our people. That's what Ronald Reagan did. And he did it with optimism and hope for our country, with a consistent conservatism. That's exactly what I bring. As president, I'll bring out the best of America in terms of individual responsibility, building our economy, in terms of
All the
securing our
talking
border,
points of
enforcing the rule of
1987.
law. I'll bring out the best of America in terms of our national
Good
character,
thing I'm wearing
our faith,
this shit.
and our
It's-
hope for the
it's
future.
the
Join in this
80s are
fight.
back in
Face it
here.
2024.com.
Thank you. Senator Scott.
Thank you. I was a disillusioned young man growing up in a single-parent household.
He's a
mired in
nice
poverty.
man. I would
wondered if
elect
the
him
American dream was
to
real
head
for a
like
kid
the Boys
me.
and Girls
I can
Club.
stand before you today.
I
and
think
say
that would be
the
a good role
dream
for him.
Is alive. It is well.
The
and
big
it is
brothers
healthy.
and
I have the
sisters.
good
That
fortune
is
of a
what
mom
he
who works
should be leading.
16-hour days, making sure we have food on our tables. She taught me that if you're able-bodied in America, you work.
He was a great
you take out a loan,
pastor.
you pay it back. You commit a violent
Great
crime,
youth
you go
minister.
to jail. And if God made you a man, you play sports against men. I'm Tim Scott. I'm asking you for your vote. And if you're in Iowa, I'm asking you to caucus for me. You can go to votetimscott.com for
Make
more
sure to
information. or
caucus
make a
for
contribution.
Governor Chris.
We want all that big black caucus.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Martha.
Ooh.
Look, everybody on this stage
Speaking of
wants to be
big.
the next president of the United States. And the only way that's going to happen is if we beat Joe Biden.
Well,
I'm
want
the only
in
one
one
on this
hand
stage
and
who's ever
shit in
beaten
the
a
other. See
Democratic
which fills up
incumbent in an election.
first.
I did it in a deep blue state, being outspent 3-1. Beating a Democratic incumbent is not easy. The last Democratic incumbent president who was defeated was Jimmy Carter. And he was defeated by a conservative governor from a blue state.
More Ronald
who
Reagan.
knew how to get
Drink
results.
Ronald Reagan.
Who stood for the truth, who cared about
Ronnie.
accountability, and stood strong and hard against waste. Those are the very things
Waste?
that I did in my 8 years as
You're
governor
a
of
giant
New Jersey.
tub of
and
human
it's
waste.
exactly what I'll do as president of the United States. Believe me, the Democrats want some other nominee who's never beaten
All right,
a
it's the
Democratic
bell. Get
incumbent.
off the stage,
I'm the one who
Arby's.
can win this race, and if you give me the chance, I will
No
restore
one's
our
giving
country
you the
by winning it.
chance.
Thank you. Governor Haley.
Several weeks ago, I dropped my husband, Michael, a combat veteran from Afghanistan,
What?
off at 4 a.m. for another
Oh.
year-long deployment.
That's terrible to laugh at.
I
but
watched
thought you
him and
said she dropped her
230
husband.
soldiers pick up their 2 duffel bags of belongings to go to a country they'd never
I
been.
dropped my
all in
husband
the
and
name
took
of
off with the
protecting
Cabana
America.
boy in South
They are willing to
Carolina.
protect us from there. We should be willing to fight for America here. I will beat Joe Biden, and he knows that. I will strengthen our economy.
You ain't going to
and
beat
we'll bring
these
this
people on the
inflation
stage.
down.
How are
We
you going
will
to beat
put
Joe Biden?
transparency in the classroom. We will secure our borders. We will have the backs of our law enforcement, and we will make sure we have a strong
is the
national
Republican
security.
Hillary.
And once again, we will make sure we have an
So
America
full of
that
shit.
is strong and proud. We have a country to save. Join us. Go to NikkiHaley.com and let's get it done.
Oh, I did not realize how much I deeply despise her.
Thank you, Brad and Martha, for this evening. It's an honor to be here. Joe Biden has weakened America at home and abroad. The disastrous withdrawal from
And you
Afghanistan,
set it up for him to do
the
so.
war on energy, runaway spending that launched the worst inflation in 40 years, a crisis at our southern border, an assault on our values and liberties, and the American people have had enough. But I know we can bring it back. But different times call for different leadership. The Republican Party owes the American people the choice. Proven leadership at the national level that knows how to move a conservative agenda forward. We
I
proved in
trust
the
him with the
Trump-Pence years you can
girls.
turn this country around faster
I
than you
wouldn't
can
trust
imagine.
him with the
And I have
boys.
faith we will again. Because I have faith in the American people. The good, decent, hardworking, faith-filled, idealistic people of this country. And I have faith that God is not done with America yet. And if we will renew our faith in one another and renew our faith in Him who has ever guided this nation since we arrived on these wilderness shores.
You know,
I know the best days
I
for
love
the greatest
religion.
nation on earth
I love
are
my
yet to come.
Christians. I love my Jesus-y people. I don't like how he
Born
uses
in
it. It's
1985,
fake.
and I grew up into a generation where we were taught to celebrate our diversity and our differences so much that we forgot all of the ways we are really just the same as Americans, bound by a common set of ideals that set this nation into motion in 1776. And this is our moment to revive those common ideals. God is real. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to man. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution, it is the strongest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what will win us the revolution of 2024. Thanks for letting me introduce myself tonight. Thank you.
That was so good. I'm shocked I'm saying this. Is he high?
Governor?
This is our time for choosing. We will send Joe Biden back to his basement and we will reverse the decline of this country. I'm a blue collar kid. I work minimum wage jobs to be able to make ends meet. I understand the importance of the American dream, and I know how that's slipped away from so many millions of Americans. We'll restore it. I'm a veteran who served in Iraq. I know what it means to put service above self. I'm also a dad and a husband, 6'5" and 3-year-old. I understand the importance of protecting parents' rights and the well-being of our children. In Florida, we showed it could be done. I made promises and I delivered on all of those promises. 2024 is make or break. We're not getting a mulligan, no excuses. I will get the job done. And as your president, I will not let you down. God bless you all.
Well, we want to say thank you. Thank you to all the candidates on the stage tonight, and thank you to Milwaukee.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you on the campaign trail from debates to primaries to the general election and the conventions before that. Thanks for joining us. Sean Hannity from the Spin Room starts right now.
Take it away, Sean.
Take it away, Sean.
You guys have any interest in Sean Hannity?
By the way, great job, Martha. And
Great job, Martha. Let's rant for a second. Let's check in with that. I'm very shocked. This is not the reaction I thought I was going to have to this. I have been so insanely pro DeSantis this whole time. I feel like this headband looks stupid. I'm going to take it off. I've been so pro DeSantis this whole time. I've been like, he is our only hope. He is our only chance. What was he doing? You're right. He looked like he was going to cry. He looked like he was stoned. I don't know. And I think this was really important for him. I think this was like his moment to stand out, step up, show why he's run, and he just let the debate happen around him. He did nothing. And it's not like what he said was terrible necessarily, but the way he said it. And I'm shocked because, I don't know. So you guys let me know what you think, because I've felt like I said, I've been very anti-Vivek. Am I wrong? I mean, he dominated like nothing I've ever seen. Yeah. I don't think I've ever watched like a whole debate that DeSantis has been in. I've seen clips and stuff, but is he always like that? I mean, well, I've felt like I don't need them to, I just want things to get accomplished. I don't care what the personality is, but like, I think the big selling point for DeSantis has been competence. And this was incompetence tonight. I'm shocked. I really thought he would have people around him who knew how important this was. Like, I was on the phone with my dad all day today saying, oh, wait until you see DeSantis. He's going to crush it. He's going to prove himself. Sorry, I'm trying to read through everything. Yeah, remember when he told off that one guy that he was running? Oh, no, it was fucking Charlie Crist. I can't believe it. I think he would be an amazing president, but he's not going to get the opportunity. So this is what I'm very surprised at, by the way. So I was really expecting that, like, you guys were going to fucking hate me because I don't think Trump should be the nominee. I think it'll be a disaster. But it seems like a lot of people agree. I think unless they found it on their own, I forgot to send them the link. I think they were watching it on TV. You thought DeSantis did fine. That's interesting. Don't say that, Tame. I hope Jeb will come out. Well, first of all, you forgot the exclamation point. It's Jeb. Whew. We're beyond fucked. You know, it is very rare. You will very, very, very rarely hear me say, I know I'm right about something, but I know I am right. We do not have, the country is hanging by a thread. And I think that if we have another chance, and that's a big if we have another chance to turn things around, we will have it once, and that's it. I'm trying to find Trump's interview. What I was going to say, I don't know about you guys. I've been so turned off the past couple months to all of the influencers, their word, not mine, or all the people supporting different candidates, the Trump supporters, the DeSantis, all of them. They are so full of shit. Whoever they're nobody can be objective. Nobody, like, for me, I just want what's best for the country. I just want the fucking best person who can win. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you what I really think, and I'm going to try to be objective and look at things logically. So I guarantee you, all the DeSantis people are going to say, what a great job he did. And you're doing him a disservice. And that is what's so fucking toxic about just the state of things, the like extreme tribalism that we have. Because even if you want, and it happened to me in 2020, that like as I was fucking traveling all over trying to get votes for Trump, I had said I thought his first debate was the disaster of the century. And people were like fucking screaming at me for that. I'm like, so you can't even make an objective statement when you're trying to help? So I'm interested to see how people respond to this. I think there's going to be a lot of dishonesty all around. Bobby, thank you so much for the super chat, my love. I rolled my eyes when Vivek announced, but man, he's been catching my attention big time. Still would love President DeSantis. Same, but Vivek is steamrolling. I mean, it was like Vivek versus a bunch of sleeping people. Sleepy everyone. I'm interested. I think DeSantis did fine. He stuck to his successes. He's never been particularly polished like Ramaswamy. Vivek is extremely polished. Yeah, that's true. I think it was just the way he said things. It was so robotic and so, I don't know. I think he just needed to stand out more. Long way to go. I'm not sold on anyone. I love that. We need more of that. I think DeSantis choked. It could be just happening around him, and he was there parts of it. He did. He looked weak. I'm so disappointed. Oh God, don't remind. Come on, I was just like trying to be charitable to him, and now you have to bring that up. Oh. I have a big problem with non-black people rapping. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. Vivek is clobbering them. Just remember, being a good actor doesn't mean that's very true. After all, Blanche from the Golden Girls was confused over the term's meaning. At this point, though, I would rather Vivek be the nominee than Trump. I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue. But the same could have been said about Trump in 2016, if you think about it, because there was no record we had to look at. I don't know if Vivek were to get elected, if he would do the things he says he would, but at least there's a chance he would. And I think he could. I think he would crush Biden. Whereas Trump, I feel like it's a guaranteed loss. Oh, yeah. Vivek rapped to Eminem. So we got like double white rappers, white, brown, but DeSantis won slim in 2018, huge in 2022. He's better at governing than campaigning. He's amazing at governing. Florida was the fucking laughing stock of the country, and he turned it around like to the place everyone is dying to be. Oh, I forgot about that. He did say that. Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm very torn. This whole time I've been like, I don't trust that bitch. Let me look at my notes. Yeah, he really seemed like the only person who was being aggressive or trying to win. I cannot stand these people who are going back to these talking points of 20 years ago of like, America is the greatest country in the world. This is not the time for that. America is the greatest country in the world that's hanging by a fucking thread, that is on the brink of communism. I don't think people are suffering. They have been locked up, had cities burned, people died alone, had their kids fucking with muzzles on their faces for 2 years at the same time that they're being indoctrinated and told that they're trans. Grocery prices are a fucking fortune. Like, people are suffering. And I don't think anybody wants to hear America is the greatest country in the world. Sure, it is. There's nowhere else we would want to be. But at this moment in time, that's kind of like being the thinnest kid at fat camp. It's insulting. And that's what I liked about what Vivek had to say, that he wasn't doing that. He was like, no, this is not morning in America. I liked that a lot. Oh, also, and Chris Christie is disgusting. I remember in 2016, I didn't like him, but I was like, objectively, he's really good in these debates. He's not even anymore. He's just a big fat slob. That's interesting. I have Asperger's myself, and I'm fairly certain that DeSantis does. Speaking in a debate like that would not be our strong suit. See, when people say, it's funny because like some people attack him that they're like, he's on the I'm like, great, he's on the spectrum. People who are on the spectrum like, fucking get shit done. We need a president serious about governing. DeSantis. Yes, I agree. If there's one person that I could choose to be president by a mile, it's DeSantis. I'm just trying to be objective. Oh my God. She is horrible. I had never seen all that much of her. I think it's funny. I tweeted a while ago. I was like, why does everyone hate Nikki Haley? I don't know. Fill me in on it. And the more I see of her, I just think about that. I'm like, oh, you sweet, naive little child. Nikki Haley's a total Karen. She'll want to speak to her manager. She must have the same advisors that fucking Amy Klobuchar had the last time. Do you remember Amy Klobuchar? While she was like fucking throwing books and binders at her underlings. Oh, she's awful. I couldn't believe she's doing that what is it? The MCU of strong women. Who is that for? Who is that meant to be pleasing to in the Republican Party? She was trying so hard to be Sarah Palin. She was trying so hard. But she doesn't have the gumption to go full Palin. Never go full Palin. Oh, I want DeSantis so badly, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. Oh, yeah, she eats with a comb. I forgot about that. Let me look at my notes. Pence got booed for everything. Yeah, it's... they were all so awful other than Vivek. I will say the whole Mike Pence in 2020 election thing, I think, like, he's a piece of shit. He is what he is. But I think it's a little bit misplaced. I personally think it was over before then. I think it was over before Election Day. I think the time to fight it was 6 months prior. I think once Trump allowed the entire scamdemic to take foot and it was done. It was done. He signed in the CARES Act funding for mail-in ballots. So, of course, not to diminish the fact of, them all stopping the voting at the same time and then covering up walls and all that shit. But in a way, it's kind of unknowable the extent that factored into it. My personal opinion is that it went to a much larger extent than that. It was stolen legally. It was allowed to be stolen through bad decisions. They got outplayed every step of the way. And for me, I can't even consider Trump again without hearing what is the plan. And I don't think there is one. My darling, thank you for the super chat. We need a person on stage who the camera pans to who just burps and waves the flag. I thought that's what Chris Christie was there to do. Ooh, Elder Ramaswamy. That would be amazing. God, I just want to see Larry Elder debate. My picks: Trump, Elder, DeSantis. I have other picks, but not viable. Oh yeah, that's right. Larry Elder. I kind of wasn't even thinking about him. I'm so torn on Vivek. I don't know if I would add him into that after that. Like, if I need to consider that I was wrong. I don't know. Yes, it is. Yeah, that's the thing. I think this election, the only way that a Republican can win this election is to be masterfully strategic, masterful in the ground game, in the ballot harvesting, and all of these bullshit things that were created in 2020. And I don't see that from Trump. I think DeSantis could do that. I think Vivek could do it. And the rest of the, honestly, this just should have been a debate between DeSantis and Vivek. The rest of them are not even options. By the way, parentheses. See, I would have disagreed with this 2 hours ago, but I don't know now. I kind of think you're right. I'm very interested, by the way, to see what Kieran thinks about this, because we've agreed about Vivek this whole time. I wonder if this changed his mind at all. No, they aren't. It really bothers me how nobody can be fucking objective. Like, they're so full of, you have no idea how many of these fucking content creators, because I've been saying for like 2 years now about how disappointed I've been with Trump from 2020 on, that I think he played a big role in allowing the scamdemic to happen, in allowing the election to be stolen. I've been saying this shit for 2 years. And I've watched over the last couple months as all of these people who privately sat across the table from me 100% agreeing with me on all of this shit, and then go out there and pretend to kiss Trump's ass and pretend to feel otherwise. And it's not just a Trump supporter thing. I've seen DeSantis people, like, people are just so full of shit. I'm so sick of it. Yes, they do. It's unbelievable how disrespected he is. Pressler Elder, I would vote for that. Yeah, he is. All right, well, let me go on Twitter and try to see the Trump interview. I'm gonna try to find it. Parentheses, by the way. Am I allowed to log into Twitter on my desktop now that Elon has taken over? Because I've kept my Twitter account so separate to the one phone because I was afraid of getting banned again. I've never logged into Twitter on my desktop. But maybe it's safe to now. I don't know. So should I just like skim through the Trump interview, or is there something with like highlights anywhere? You guys tell me. Oh yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, they kept Larry Elder out because they said a Rasmussen poll doesn't count. I mean, I've been hearing of Rasmussen since I was a fucking teenager. I only follow Twinks and politicians. That's why you're here, baby. That's unbelievable. See, but this is what annoys me with the Trump people, is that every one of these things comes back to his horrible decisions. And I don't see that has changed in any way. All of these people, from Pence to Ronna McDaniel to his entire cabinet. If you guys haven't seen the video that somebody posted the other day on Twitter that was like Trump versus Trump on his appointment, like every single person, who hired them? And to these people who are just like, nothing is ever his fault. He was lied to. He was tricked. He was duped. That's worse. Because here I was thinking, okay, he makes bad decisions, but that's telling me he's just a dumbass, which I don't think is the case. The rent is too damn high. Bring that guy back. Yeah, are there like highlights of this shit, or should I just scroll through it? I'm looking. Does anyone have a link to the Tucker thing? For some reason, my Twitter not being logged in is only showing me tweets as recent as April. You guys want to watch the whole interview? I'm down if you want to. I don't want to keep y'all. I support Trump, but I'm willing to acknowledge his flaws. His picks have not been great. Even a couple of his SCOTUS picks went against the grain. Let me be clear, too, by the way. I will vote for him 100,000% over Biden, but I don't think my vote will matter. All right, let's do it. Can someone send me a link to it? Oh, same. Yeah, I was like his biggest freaking supporter in 2020. Okay, I'm trying to find the interview. Maybe Google. Wait, when are we getting the Elder Harlow ticket? Never. I would sooner fucking run down the middle of Harlem naked than I would run for office. I'll run on the dick pics ticket. See, I think the indictments are maybe purposeful in trying to have Trump win the primary, because I think it might push people to him in the primary, but it ain't gonna push anyone to him in a general election. You know what it reminds me of? I call it the like threshold. Have you guys ever been speaking with some dumbass bitch, like some dumb hoe, and she says the word like one too many times? You know, you can take it the first time, the second time, the third time. But when you're talking to somebody and she's like, oh, like I went to like the grocery store because like I needed food because like I was hungry, but like I didn't like want to, you know, somebody says the word like one too many times, and it's the only word you can hear them say from then on. Trump, I think, has crossed the like threshold with too many people, with all the baggage. And I honestly think that for people who aren't as into all this shit as we are, they're just tuning out. They're just like, I can't take anymore. Oh my God, we don't have enough problems. I'm the last person who should make. We would have a sex scandal every day. Does anyone have a link to the interview? Send it in the chat. I'm going to Google it. Oh, wait, maybe that's why I went to twitter.com. I forgot it's fucking X now. Twitter now identifies as X. How dare you? Okay, now still just tweets from April. Yeah, but like, you know, this notepad would be better than Biden. This asthma inhaler would be better than Biden. This ring would be better than Biden. This wallet would be better than Biden. I would vote for a lovely bottle of ketchup over Biden. Oh, Okay, let me find it. Trump interview. It will kind of be interesting to see them back to back. Here's how to watch Trump's Tucker Carlson interview. Everybody, give some love to Sage for being our Trump correspondent tonight. So apparently everybody wants to watch the Trump interview, so I'm trying to find it. Maddie, you're not going to believe me saying that fucking Vivek, by a mile, by everyone else was asleep. Everyone else was fucking Sleeping Beauty. He demolished them. Oh, they block it. Okay, I'm going to find it. I got an article. How to watch it, where to watch it. Let's see. It's loading. Yeah, just it doesn't let me see a whole lot of Twitter not logged in. I probably can log in at this point since it's the new Twitter and everything, but I'm paranoid. If I logged in and I got banned, I'd be so pissed. Okay, here we go. How to watch blah blah blah. Oh wait, I'm logged into my old account here. Okay, I'm gonna find it. Twitter. Okay. Thank you guys, by the way, for being so hilarious and amazing tonight, as always. Oh, I learn new things all the time on here. Well, I got to make you guys mods. I was wondering that too. We get, if it's long, we can watch until we're bored. All right, let's see. Tucker. What are what are prominent sort of people saying on Twitter right now? Oh, it's 45 minutes. That's good. Yeah, I need to do that. I'm going to do that after this. Here we go. All right. Copy. By the way, can I just say, I love you guys so much. I love so much. We all have different beliefs. We all have different candidates we prefer. And we are all fucking here having a great time, laughing as friends, as it fucking should be. There are no cults here. There are no echo chambers here. Think what the fuck you want to think. Vote for who the fuck you want to vote for. I love you all. And that means so much to me. I was thinking about today how in 2020, when I was like doing all this stuff and traveling and shit, I was banned from everything. And I feel like that was kind of the biggest blessing in disguise, because I would have had all these followers who would have just wanted me to say things they agree with and wouldn't be following me because they give a shit about me. They just want to hear their own views parroted back at them. I experienced that a lot in 2020. And I feel like it was the biggest blessing because I get you guys, and you guys are the fucking best. So thank you. Aw. I need to go. I'm going to quit vaping. I stopped smoking. I need to stop vaping now. Oh, she must be pissed. She's got to be so pissed off. Aw, me too. Aw. Oh yeah, I'm calling it Twitter. I don't care what it identifies as. All right, here it is, I think. Do you guys think it's okay for me to log in on here? It's not letting me see it unless I log in. Oh, thank you so much. I fucking love... I mean, I'm already friends with Chrissy, and she's amazing, and Gothix. I fucking love Camelot so much. That was the best time. He's going to be on my channel. He's going to be on here, I think, Saturday. I got to confirm with him. I think Saturday. He is the greatest fucking person. Oh, ouch. All right. I hope I'm safe to log in. I have not logged in on this account ever. I'm going to do it. If I get banned, it's all your fault. Sign in. Let's see how this goes. All right. All right, give me a sec. No way, Rich! That's awesome! Welcome to the crazy train! Ah. He's amazing. That kind of stream is so unexpected for you. Hell yeah! I get so happy when I meet people who like do this sort of thing that are good people and are fucking awesome, because there's so many shitbags. All right, what the fuck is my password? I've literally only ever logged into Twitter once. I need a verification code. I need a verification code, and I use my phone as a camera. So I'm going to get my verification code very quickly, but I don't want to leave dead air. So enjoy the MIKEroaggress'd theme song again while I get my verification code. Go to the bathroom if you need to, and we will be back in 45 seconds. Why isn't it playing? Play! Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I'm trying to find my verification app. Bear with me. I need to make like a technical difficulties graphic. What is the verification app called? Sorry. It wouldn't be one of my streams if it didn't get Authenticator. There we go. I got the Authenticator, bitch. All right. Enter the code. No, not that code. This code. Bear with me 1 second. Why did it turn red? Oh my God, they're giving me a new code. Whoa, they have a short timer. The pressure is on. All right, enter. I got it. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. All right, there we go. Sorry for that. But we got it. We have had success. All right. And hopefully I don't get banned. Okay, finding it. Okay, we got it. Like I said, we get there eventually. We always just take the long way there. But we always get there eventually. I have to message Nick. I meant to do that today. We were messaging about doing a show, and then he got banned. And then we didn't have any way to get in touch for a while. So I've been meaning to message him ever since. All right, let's do this. Okay.
It's debate night, but we're not in Milwaukee.
Mr. President, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Why aren't you at the Fox News debate tonight in Milwaukee?
Well, a lot of people have been asking me that, and many people said you shouldn't do them, but you see the polls have come out, and I'm leading by 50 and 60 points. And, some of them are at 1 and 0 and 2. And I'm saying, do I sit there for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it's going to be, and get harassed by people that shouldn't even be running for president? Should I be doing that?
What are you, Anita Sarkeesian?
Particularly friendly to me, frankly. They were backing Ron DeSanctimonious like crazy, and now they've given up on him. I mean, it's a lost cause. It reminded me very much of 2016. In 2016, I went through the same stuff. and had to fight them all the way. And then they became very friendly after I won.
And you did
when
it!
I was winning. But I just felt it would be more appropriate not to do the debate. I don't think it's right to do it.
Horrible
If
nickname.
you're leading by 50, 60, I have one problem leading by 70 points. And I'm saying, why am I doing it? And I'm going to have 8 people, 10 people, whoever made the debate. I don't know how many it is, but I'm going to have all these people screaming at me, shouting questions at me, all of which I love answering. I love doing, but it doesn't make sense to do them. So I've taken a pass, as you probably noticed.
I did. I did. I'm grateful that you did. It's interesting, though, because you spent a lot of your career in television.
Yeah.
Hey, pauses. I just got to say, it makes me so sad. His hair is turning white. He doesn't look well. And I mean, who the fuck would be well? He's probably better than most people would be. Who the fuck would be well with all the shit he's had to go through? But it's just all I ever hear from him nowadays are excuses. You'd be harassed and screamed at going to a debate. Like, he demolished all of them in 2016. This has been a very odd. I mean, Trump, I already knew this was the case. I expected it. But so I loved Trump, and then this is what he's become. I loved DeSantis, and this is what he's become. I think Jeremy is right, and I need to stop thinking that any politician will ever.
You would a top show on television on NBC, but you don't feel the need now running for president to do television. Obviously, do you think television is declining?
Well, according to a poll that I guess we just saw, it just came out where it's down like 30, 35%. But I think they were referring to cable. I think cable's down because it's lost credibility. MSN.
Sorry, we're taking the scenic route.
BC, or as they say, MSDNC, is so bad. It's so
better now?
Wrong what they write and what they do and what they say. It's it's
Did
fake
it
news, as
unfreeze?
I said. I think I came up with that term. I hope I did because it's a good one. It's not tough enough anymore. It's corrupt news. Really what you do is call it corrupt news, but somehow that doesn't play as nicely. But it is corrupt news. So you have MSNBC and you have CNN, who's absolutely doing no ratings at all. I mean, they're dead, but they're doing none because they don't have credibility. They really don't have credibility. Fox is way down, as you know, and the good old days are long ago. I will say this: it could come back, but they just don't have a lot of credibility. Tucker, you know that perhaps better than anybody. I think it was a terrible move getting rid of you. You were number one on television, and all of a sudden we're doing this interview, but we'll get bigger ratings using this crazy forum that you're using than probably the debate or competition.
When you say there are people on stage who shouldn't be running for president, who do you mean?
Well, I don't want to really use names, but
All
it
of them
wouldn't
that
matter
aren't
too much. A
Santa.
guy like, I call him Ada Hutchinson. It's Asa, but I call him Ada.
I thought he was going to say Ava Braun.
I can tell you, but I don't want to get myself in a little trouble. But he's weak and pathetic, and he was. I never understood the guy. Never knew him. He was the governor of Arkansas.
Such BS.
Not a very popular guy. I don't know how but that state is such a great state. The people are so incredible in that state, and they love me, and I love them. How does this guy get elected governor of Arkansas? But he's nasty always, and has been. A guy like Chris Christie, the guy left with a 8%. Think of it, 8% approval rating in New Jersey. Now he's running for president. And he runs solely on the basis, let's get Trump. He's like a savage maniac. He's like a lunatic. And that's all he talks about. His poll numbers are very, very low. He's about 2%.
What's he like? You know him well.
No, I've been friendly with him over the years, but I couldn't give him a job because I just never trusted him very much. I was just never one of his people that really trusted him. I never gave him the job. And that's one of the reasons he feels so hurt and so betrayed. And I understand that. I really do. I understand it. But I never gave him. He wanted to be different things. He was looking at different elements of the administration. And I decided I didn't want to do it. And now I'm glad I did because you see, but we had some great people. I had great people. We'll have even better people if we do this because now I know Washington. Before I didn't know Washington. But guys like Bill Barr were terrible. I mean, they were, I would say, Bushies. I say that with respect to the Bush family, but they were Bushies. And just it doesn't work out for us.
It was clear. This is kind of far afield, but it was just interesting. I read Barr's account of his time. He wrote a book about it,
right?
His autobiography, and in it he lies about Jeffrey Epstein's death. Clearly lies. Do you think Epstein killed himself sincerely?
I don't know. I will say that, he was a fixture in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
I don't know what Barr said about it either. I have no idea what he said. What did he say? He killed himself, probably?
He said he killed himself and that they were going to do this investigation. They never did the investigation. It's never been public.
Well,
and they hid it. And why are they doing that?
He
And clearly Barr knew. But why would Bill Barr be covering up the death of Jeffrey Epstein?
Bill Barr didn't do an investigation on the election fraud either. Okay, he said he did.
That's not what the question is.
He didn't. McSwain, the U.S. attorney in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, said Barr just wouldn't let him do it. It was crazy. Barr became so petrified, so frightened of being impeached. They were going to impeach him. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
It's not a big moment in history.
Fired him.
But they said, we're going to impeach. They play a much rougher game, the left, the lunatics. And they were going to impeach Bill Barr, and he was petrified. Now, how do you not get impeached?
He would.
But he didn't do the job there. I don't know what he did with Epstein, but possibly.
Do you think it's possible that Epstein was killed?
Oh, sure, it's possible. I mean, I don't really believe. I think he probably committed suicide. He had a life with, beautiful homes and beautiful everything, and he all of a sudden he's incarcerated and not doing very well. I would say that he did, but there are those people. There are many people. I think you're one of them, right? But a lot of people think that he was killed. He knew a lot on a lot of people.
He was killed.
You think so?
I think the closer you look, I'm not a conspiracy person at all. I believe everything I hear. But yeah, the closer you look into it, I mean, the Attorney General of the United States, your Attorney General, clearly lied about the Epstein death.
Yeah,
he was. Why?
He was certainly. It wasn't well done. They had no cameras. They had no anything. Everybody was sleeping, and a case could be made. Look, I'm not going to get involved in it, but I can tell you a case could be made either way. But it certainly wasn't the most well-run place.
So the reason I'm asking you is I'm looking at the trajectory since 2015 when you got into politics, for real.
Powerful person who has every powerful person in the country by the
It started with protests against you, massive protests, organized protests by the left, and then it moved to impeachment twice.
And this is what
and now indictment. I mean, the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you? Honestly,
they're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick.
Oh, I would
You
vote
have
for
great
Tucker
people in the Democrat Party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or conservatives. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody. But I've seen what they do. I've seen the lengths that they go to when they make up the Russia. When that's exposed and they go down, and Barr should have gone after them, and other people should have gone after them. And they did very late because the Durham report came out. It was fairly good. It could have been a lot tougher, I guess, but it was fairly good. But it explained how corrupt it was. I'll tell you who did a great job was the Inspector General Horowitz. He did a phenomenal report. You didn't have to go to Durham. He did it on Comey and on, I guess, McCabe and some others. And it was a vicious, it was basically a true report, how bad they are. But these people are sick people. These are people that I think they hate our country. You want to know the truth?
This is the
when you see
correct
open
answer.
borders, when you see these policies that they have, and so many other things, it's so sad to see. We have a country that's very fragile right now. I've never seen. I will say, look.
This is
I
why
ran in 16, which was 15, but I ran in 16,
running.
election in 16, and there was tremendous spirit. In 20, there was even more spirit. We got millions and millions more votes. It wasn't even a contest. People said, well, what do you think of 20? I said, we did much better. We did. You got to base it on the number of votes. We got many more votes in 20 than we did in 16. But the election was rigged. It was a rigged election. But
who allowed it?
And with COVID, they used COVID to cheat in a lot of different things. And we have so much on it. It's like so easy. But we had judges that didn't want to look. We had people didn't want to get involved. They called you, he's a conspiracy theorist if you say anything about the election. But I have never seen spirit like there is right now. Even coming down here, just the people on the road.
I don't want to pause it because it freezes my
absolutely
computer,
going
but
crazy. And the reason is, I think they like me, and I know they love my policies. I hope they like me too. You know, a lot of people say they don't like me, but they like my I think they like me. But I have never seen spirit like it is right now. And the reason is because crooked Joe Biden is so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country. I don't think he's going to make it to the gate, but you know, you never know. But he's a corrupt person, so corrupt that I took the name off Hillary. You know, I don't do two people at one time. I took the crooked Hillary and I retired the name. That was a good day for her. I bet she was very happy. And I used it for Joe because it's crooked Joe. But Joe is really.
But you don't think he's going to make it to November of 2024?
Well, I think he's worse mentally than he is physically. And physically, he's not exactly a triathlete or any kind of an athlete. You look at him, he can't walk to the helicopter. He walks. He can't lift his feet out of the grass. You know, it's only 2 inches at the White House, right? It's not a lot. But you watch him, and it looks like he's walking on toothpicks.
I'm so on board with this.
And then you see him on the beach where he can't lift a chair. You know, those chairs are meant to be light, right? They're like 2 ounces.
Yeah.
You lift them
He
up.
doesn't admit to anything.
He can't lift the chair. He can't walk to the chair. And I don't know what they're doing with the beach. You know, this beach is seeming to play a big role, but they love pictures of him on the beach. I think he looks terrible on the beach. Looks terrible on the beach.
Skinny legs.
Well, he can't walk through the sand. You know, sand is not that easy to walk through, but when he walks through it, he can't walk through the sand. And there's somebody in there that thinks he looks fabulous at the beach. I think he looks horrible at the beach. Plus, the beach doesn't represent what the president's supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be working. You're supposed to be getting us out of that horrible, horrible war that we're very much involved in with Russia and Ukraine. You could do that. You could do that very easily. I believe you could do that I don't believe he could do it because he's just incompetent. But that's a war that should end immediately, not because of one side or the other, because hundreds of thousands of people are being killed.
Oh my God, the
imagine you're in an
log.
apartment
I didn't
house
notice
and
the
rockets
log.
are going into that building and blowing it up and knocking it down? And
you guys, we are a good team.
Why should
y'all notice things?
Why should
that I
anybody, human beings, is a human, whether they're Russian or Ukrainian or whatever they are, it's got to be stopped. And it can be stopped very easily. It would have never started. If I were president, it would have never started.
So back to Biden, I'm interested. So you think he's failing? He obviously is failing. I think it's clear to everybody. But that would make Kamala Harris the candidate?
Well, not really. I mean, I guess they'd have maybe a free-for-all. A lot of people say she has to remain for certain reasons, the candidate. She has to. I don't think that's true, actually. I don't think that other people would stand for it. She has some bad moments. Her moments are almost as bad as his. I think his are worse, actually.
Yeah.
But
she seems pretty senile, too.
She speaks in rhyme. It's weird.
They got to put the thug life glasses on Tucker for that.
Rhyme? What do you?
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there because that's what buses do. And it's weird. The whole thing is weird. This is not a president of the United States future. And I think they probably have some kind of a primary and other people will get involved.
Newsom, right? I
Could be. I mean, you know,
Nope.
I always got along well with him, believe it or not. But could be him, could be somebody
Fuck
else.
off!
He's got a big load on his shoulders. because you
People
look at
died
California, what's
alone
happened.
while he
But I
was
don't know if
out
the
having
American
dinner
people really-
parties,
the people that vote
laughing
for him,
at
I don't even know if they care. You know, you look
I
at
don't
so
give
many
a
of the
fuck
things
if
that
you
are
got along with him. You got along with him
going
too
on,
fucking
and
well.
people don't seem to be. In the old days, if you had a bad record, it meant a lot. Today, if you have a bad record, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, he looks good. He's a nice-looking guy. Speaks well. But Biden, every time you watch him talking, it's like he's walking on eggs. You're waiting for him to collapse.
And I just want to point out too,
And he
that I
almost
think
always does.
maybe not all of us.
And I got to
if
know
not
the
all
leaders
of us, I think most
all of the
us
countries,
here,
essentially,
me
but the
and
big
Chuck,
ones.
have all been
And the
supporters.
bigger, the tougher the leader. You know, it's like sort of, I guess maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. But I got to know President Xi of China and Putin and Kim
We're
Jong-un,
so
North Korea. Did a great job with North Korea,
primary.
kept us out of a nuclear war. We would have 40,000 dead soldiers right now. They'd drop a nuke right on top of the military base. But we have 40,000 soldiers over there. And I did great. I got along with him great. It's a good, that's a
agree with
positive.
you,
You know, the
James.
press said, he said nice things about Kim Jong-un. I also said horrible things at the beginning. Horrible enough that he wanted to talk. And we talked and we met in Singapore. We met actually twice. And we had unbelievable meetings. I know him very well. We were in great shape with him.
What do you think he and Xi and Putin think of Biden?
I think they can't believe it. I think they probably say this is some kind of a system. You know, they had great respect for our country. They respected me. They had great respect for our country when I was there. Every one of them. Look, if you go to,
I'm
if you
so
go to North
grateful
Korea,
for you guys
you
here.
take a look at what
tonight.
happened. You know, the Olympics was dead. South Korea spent billions on the
Ever
Olympics.
since he
Nobody was going to
announced,
go. They didn't want to
like,
get
I'm
blown
like,
up.
am
They
I
called me and they
crazy?
said,
Like, I'm not
we
the
are
only
going
one
to let
seeing this,
the
right?
Olympics proceed. This is North Korea. I said, you should go into the Olympics. Put your athletes in. It wasn't like, you know, they were big on athletes because, you know.
Famine.
But they went in and they actually participated. And within about 2 days, the entire thing was sold out. And if it wasn't me, that would have never happened. But I got along very well with him, and that's a positive thing.
That's
does have
not a
massive
fucking
nuclear power,
positive
by the way.
thing. You're
And
going
if Hillary
to
would
be
have
in
gotten in,
jail
or
tomorrow
if the Obama thought process continued,
because of
it
these
would have been a
people.
nuclear war, absolutely, with North Korea. He was
I don't think
expecting
he
to go
gets it.
into
I don't
a
think
war,
he
and
gets it.
it would have been a nuclear war.
Let's face facts. He
So do
is
you think the rest of the world looks on at
and he
Biden and
wants
thinks
to
someone
sort
else
of
has got to be running the
exist
government?
amongst
somebody
those
else has
people
to
and
be.
wants to be liked.
I don't think he's capable of doing
No.
anything. Look, when I debated him, I said, how come, and this was in front of probably not a friend of yours, Chris Wallace. He was the moderator.
Not a friend.
I said, why is it he wants to be Mike, but he doesn't have the talent? It's one of those
bitchy little man.
He wanted to be his father, but he didn't have the
Why
talent.
can't
His
we have
father was
Tucker
great. His
running?
father,
Why
fussy
can't
man.
we get
his
Tucker?
father interviewed me in 60 Minutes. It was actually a 10. Can you believe
I
it?
totally.
may
His
have got-
father had talent, at
No,
least.
I may have been the only guy that he gave a good 60 Minutes to. He was rough.
Really?
His father was tough. He was great, though. He was great at what he did. But Chris Wallace was so upset. He was guarding this guy who wouldn't do a show, by the way. You know, he wouldn't do. I figured I didn't mind Chris Wallace because Biden wouldn't do a show. And it was very obvious. You know, he kept asking him and asking, but he wouldn't do the show. So I figured he's got to like me. But he came from a different planet. But remember when I asked the question, why is it that the mayor of Moscow's wife is allowed to give you $3.5 million? Don't forget, that was brought up. Now it's brought up all the time, but that was brought up by me long before anyone ever heard of it.
It's so
I said, the mayor of Moscow's wife giving you $3.5 million. What did you do to deserve $3.5 million? To Biden. And Chris Wallace said, this has nothing to do with the debate. I mean, he
got in the way of the question.
No, it was crazy. And I said, well, wait a minute. He got $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife. Now, people forget that, but if you go back and take a look, you will see. And Chris Wallace didn't want me to ask that question. I said, I think it's a very appropriate question. It turned out to be much more appropriate than people
Sage.
thought.
Amazing.
Yes.
So do you have a preference in, assuming you're the Republican nominee and all goes as you plan it to go, do you have a preference in who you run against?
In many ways, I'd love to run against him because his record's so bad. You know, it's still horrible when you look at inflation and everything else, but others also have very bad
I've been
records.
told
I mean,
for like the
California's
last
a
year.
bad record, so, should it be Gavin or should it be somebody else?
You're like, you
When
were
I look
always
at San
never Trumper.
Francisco, what's happened to that incredible
Like,
city? That was one of the greatest
spoke in a
cities in
video
the
at his
world
fucking
just a short
convention.
while ago, and now it's very sad when you look at it. Los Angeles, every city practically, all the Democrat-run cities. You know, Republican-run cities are doing very nicely because they arrest people when you have crimes, and they don't go after political candidates because they think it's good. You know, I mean, it's like been amazing. My poll numbers are the highest I've ever had, but because people understand it. You know,
Can I just ask you, that gets back to my original question. So if the protest didn't work, you got elected anyway.
Yeah.
Impeachment didn't work twice, obviously. Indictment is not working. Your poll numbers go up. When they raided Mar-a-Lago in August of last year, your numbers went up. They can indict you 20 times and you're not gonna lose the Republican primary because of that.
Well,
So,
it
like,
makes it look
wanna
even
bet?
more ridiculous. I mean, the 4 indictments, and maybe there'll be more. I don't know. These people are crazy.
But they're counterproductive. So if you chart it out, it's an escalation, is what I'm saying. So what's next after, try to put you in prison for the rest of your life? That's not working. So like, don't they have to kill you now?
I think the people of our country don't get enough credit for how smart they are. And I'm not sure I would have said this 10 years ago, but they get it.
Ooh, is it
They
sexual?
really get it. When somebody gets indicted, your poll numbers go down. When somebody gets indicted, you announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving to spend time with my family and to fight for the rest of my life on this stuff. but you're out of politics. I got indicted 4 times. All trivia, nonsense, bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's horrible when you look and you look at what they're doing. The boxes hoax, I'm covered by the Presidential Records Act. I'm allowed to do exactly that. He's not covered, and he's got 25 times the number of boxes. And he's got them stored in Chinatown. He's got them stored in a flimsy garage underneath his Corvette.
That is reality. That is the situation.
And by the way, at Penn, he gets millions of dollars. China pays
this
guy
guy
millions
standard.
of dollars.
Of course, there's a double
standard.
See,
I think he's the most corrupt president we've ever had. And he also has the distinction of being the most incompetent. And I believe both. I mean, he's both incompetent and corrupt.
So
and
who
I
is running the
actually
government?
believe he's compromised because China knows so much about him. They know where the money comes from. They know where it is, who paid it, and they probably paid it. Well, they do pay Penn, and he gets $1 million. I think he takes $999,000 because keeps it a little bit under $1 million, like by $1. But he, in many ways, is a Manchurian candidate.
Well,
we have a Manchurian candidate.
Oh, I got to tell
and
you.
He's afraid to tell Russia to get out of Cuba. He's afraid to tell China to get out of Cuba. He's afraid. China now is building, think of this.
By design.
China is building military installations in Cuba. The Cuban population of Miami is not too happy because they're never going to be able to go back. And you don't even hear about it. And the worst culprit is the press, the media, because normally, when I first heard that China's building
Biden is actually the most accomplished.
Installations means military installations.
I can think of anybody who's done so much to destroy a fucking country in just what 2-3 years.
They took the island. They started this massive construction, and they told everybody, including the Japanese. The Japanese have to be very careful. They told everybody that this is a housing development. They're going to build a housing development. And I said, how come the runway is 20,000 feet long? Private jets need 4,000 feet. They don't need 20,000 feet. The big ones need 20,000 feet. They don't even need 20. And I looked at the runway. I said, that's the largest runway ever built, both in width and length, for housing development. There's nobody that has a plane that big that you would have a runway that's
Why is
for
China
testing.
allowed to
show you
conduct imperialism in our hemisphere?
Well, yeah, and it's far beyond Cuba. It's all over South America.
Yeah, in the Caribbean.
So we built a thing called the Panama Canal. We lost 35,000 people to the mosquito, malaria.
Yeah.
We lost 35,000 people building. We lost 35,000 people
I'm
because
very
of the
surprised
mosquito.
by tonight's
They
event.
had to build under nets.
Not like I thought Trump would be great.
One of the true great
this is beyond. I'm shocked
wonders
by
of the
both
world, as he said, one of the
these
9
things
wonders
that we've
of the world.
watched.
No, it was one of the 7. This happened a little while ago. There's 9 wonders of the world. He
bad.
could make 9 wonders.
Bad.
He would have been better off if he stuck with the 9 and just said, "Yeah, I think it's 9." But this is one of the true 7 wonders of the world.
I'm kind
you
of
take a look
offended
at
that
the
I have
Panama
not had a
Canal. It was
sex
such-
scandal yet.
such an
I am waiting
incredible
for my sex
engineering
scandal. I thought
marvel.
this would be the year.
We sold it
I mean,
under Jimmy
let's
Carter.
be
We sold
honest,
it to
you need to be
Panama
having sex to
for
have a
$1.
sex scandal, but
The following day, they
at least somebody would
quadrupled
make one up.
the amount
and I
of
could
money
say
the
it
ships
was
had to pay to
true.
get across.
Just to
They
sound,
didn't lose one ship.
scandaloso.
And now they've made it
Yeah,
much
what
bigger.
poll
And now they've
we
widened
do?
it. They've doubled
Anything
it, right?
but-
They've more than doubled it. And it's one of the most profitable things.
Let
Any
Tucker and
time
Donald
it's just incredible, right? We gave it away for $1.
91.
China now
and
controls
people are
it. They
gonna
actually
be
control the
lying
Panama
their
Canal.
asses
They run
off
it.
with
They
both
control
him
it.
and DeSantis.
And we shouldn't let that
mark
happen.
my words.
And we can't let China be in
Remember, I
Cuba.
said that.
And they'll get out. If I'm president, they'll get out.
Georgia, what's the
Because
poll?
I had a very good relationship with President Xi,
Can we
but he
stop
respected
watching?
this country. He respected me.
You guys are in charge.
And
You
he'll
tell
get
me.
out. And we can't let them run the Panama Canal. We built the Panama Canal. Should have never been given to Panama. We
I
should have
am
had
too.
it.
I really expect.
But we gave it for
everyone would
$1.
hate
Think
me
of
for
it.
my
They
opinion.
quadrupled in one day. They lifted the fees, which are, pretty big for these massive ships to go through, right? Rather than going around the Cape and through all the tremendous storms.
Maybe I
such
did.
beauty, when it's beautiful stuff. But you didn't want to get caught in those storms. Those were storms that wiped out the biggest ships. And we go through the Panama Canal. We built it.
Join my
And we gave it
locals,
away for
fam.
$1. Think of that. How stupid are we? We have done the stupidest things in this country. And now we have a president that can't put 2 sentences together, can't speak, can't walk, can't talk. I don't think he gets to the starting gate, but these people do miracles. I mean, he ran out of his basement.
Love that.
And you got away with that one because of COVID, so he sort of got away with it. They cheated on the election. But you have people that are very smart, but they're fascists and they're radical left lunatics, and they're destroying our country with the all-electric cars and the windmills all over the place, which, by the way, don't work, and they're all, most of them made in China. For the most part, they're made in China. Germany a little bit, but China. But you look at what's happening to our country, even no voter ID. I mean, why don't they want voter ID? There's only one reason they don't want voter ID, because they want to cheat. I mean, who doesn't want, the Democrat convention, the last one,
I think the governor of North Dakota has more energy than Trump.
You walked in, they had your picture, your this, your fingerprint, they had everything. The most incredible voter ID I've ever seen. That was to get into the Democrat National Convention. But to get into vote, if you buy groceries, if you buy practically anything now, you have ID on a card. Credit cards or otherwise.
But don't you think it's racist to have to show your ID?
Well, they probably say that. They use anything not to show ID, because voter ID is pretty simple. And we could go back, and we should go back to all paper ballots, voter ID, same-day voting.
Then
France
why
did
did
it.
you
France had their
fund
mail-in
mail-in ballots in
It was
the
terrible.
CARES Act?
Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you're going to have massive cheating.
You funded them.
Anytime, not just the presidential election. Anytime you have.
Isn't that the whole point of them?
Yeah.
So you can
Oh,
cheat?
yeah, sure. It's their whole point. That's their whole point. They want to cheat. Yeah.
Here's
they have to
the
cheat
sad
because the
reality.
policies are so bad that if they didn't cheat, they couldn't get
Voter
elected. Who wants
integrity
open
needs to be
borders?
something
Who wants high taxes? Who wants
that
high
people
interest rates?
do and
Who
don't
wants to
talk
not be
about.
able to use a gas stove
When you get in office, do
or
something
have to
about it.
drive an
But it
electric car,
comes
which
off
you have a
really
4-hour
badly
drive, but the car only goes an
about
hour and a half. You have to
Even
charge it.
to someone like me who completely agrees.
The happiest moment for
just
somebody
doesn't
in an
come
electric
off
car is the first 10
well.
minutes. In other words, you get it charged, and now for 10 minutes. The unhappiest part is the
Trina,
next hour.
my love, we've had a
because you're
very
petrified that you're
surprising
not going to be
evening
finding
tonight.
another charger.
At least I have. I
People-
don't know about you guys.
I'm saying if people, I'm not knocking electric cars, they're fine. They're fine. But if people want to buy a gasoline car or a hybrid, hybrids are pretty good actually, but they should be allowed to buy. They don't want to do any of this. So right now, California's in a big brownout because their grid is a disaster. The grid all over the country is sort of a disaster, but the grid in California. And yet they want to have in a very short period of time,
slog.
millions and millions of cars going off that grid essentially.
Same.
So plug your car into a grid that's failed.
You should be able to buy an
doing
electric
that.
car. Electric cars could be fine if you drive
really
short
wanna do a
distances. and
Laura
you wanna
Loomer
have,
one, by the way.
whatever,
I've
and you have
been
plug-ins every
practicing my
where you
Laura
go.
Loomer.
They could be fine. But you got to have gasoline cars. You got to have everything. Let people buy everything. Now there's the new thing is your heating systems in the house. They don't want you to have a modern day heating system. They want you to use a heating system. that will
Exit
cost you
only.
At least $10,000 to buy and won't work very well. None of the stuff
Unless you're
works
going
as
to put a
well.
ring on it.
One of the things I did with EPA is you have states, many states, most of the states have so much water, it comes out of heaven, right? The water pours down and you have it. It's there. It's got to
I don't think I have enough.
go wherever it goes, into
plastic
the oceans, whatever.
put on my face.
It's not like a big problem. Now, in some states, they have a problem, you have some desert areas and all, and for that, it's okay. But they have sinks where no water comes out. You turn it on, no water comes out.
Oh yeah, everybody remember
No
tomorrow.
water comes out of
and
the
just like
shower.
that finale.
No
on my
water is
locals.
allowed to
So
go
join
into the
my
washing
locals.
machine for
We have
your
a good ass
dishes or
time
for
there.
your clothing or what.
And we are
And I
starting.
avoided all
Are
of
you
that.
afraid of the dark?
Wait, they have sinks where no water comes
Sure,
out?
you have restrictors. When I say no water, very little
Oh,
water.
I'm just
you want
okay.
to wash your
I have
hands,
everything
right?
on mute
And
on
you
Twitter
you've
for
seen
just
this, and you
like
turn
that.
on the sink and it's very
Nobody
little.
tell me spoilers. I want to go in blind
Or
on the
you
stream.
want to wash your beautiful hair, right? And
So don't tell
you're
me
standing under
anything.
a shower. Then the suds never go. If the water comes out very slowly, I'm sure you've seen this. It usually takes place in new hotels and new homes.
Yeah, you take a drill and take the
They have a
limiter out.
well, you can, but now they make it so you can't do that. So
I
they have a
I'm so
restrictor.
happy
It's called
that
a
this is happening
restrictor.
because
And
I
it restricts the water from
see.
coming out. So I ended
cannot-
all of
we
that.
cannot
and you
have
to see
him
these-
as our
they
nominee.
Let the water come out. You know what people do? They wash their hands like 5 times longer, or in the washing machine, they'll press for their, let's say the dishwasher. They'll press it. Then they'll press it about 7 or 8 times.
But they're talking
They'll end
about
up using more
dishwasher. I
water,
tuned
and it
out
still
for a
won't
sec.
be
They're talking
very
about
good.
fucking dishwasher.
I met with the head of Whirlpool. They were practically going out of business during my administration, and they said to me from Ohio, incredible great state. I love Ohio.
Alex
And they were
Bruskowitz
really
is
doing
gonna be
badly because
working
people were
fucking
dumping washing
overtime
machines
trying
all
to
over,
spin
mostly
this
from
shit.
South Korea, but also from China. And he was explaining it's
God, he's
it's a
making
terrible
DeSantis'
situation. I said, let me
performance
ask you,
seem better.
how's the quality? He says, we're better, but they are good enough quality. But, you know, of course he's going to say that, but, you know, they are better. So, but they don't allow us. They're dumping these machines. They're cutting us in half.
God.
They're
You
killing
all
us.
are my
And
peeps. I love you.
on top of it, the government won't let us use water in our machines. I mean, he shows me like a quarter of a bottle of water. That's supposed to be washing clothing.
They're still, he's
And I
still
figured it all
talking
out,
about
and I paid
fucking washing
tariffs on
clothes and
these
dryers
countries
and
that
washing
were selling and the machines coming into the country. And that company went from
How
a
is this
big,
the same
big,
man
all the
who
washing
said,
machine companies, they make
because
washing
you
machines,
be
they
in
make dryers, they make
jail.
all of the different machines that do this kind of work, including dishwashers. And they went from a disaster area to being just thriving.
But can I ask
They
why-
love me in that part of Ohio.
Well, I bet they do, but why should EPA, no one at EPA was elected by anybody,
Yeah.
why do they have the power to decide how much water your washing machine uses? Shouldn't Congress in a democracy get to vote on that?
Yeah, you could say that.
I'm not
They
comprehending
do
any of
things that
this.
are
I'm just
not
hearing
very-
words.
So how do you,
and
that's my
every
question,
word
how
I
do
hear
you,
is
if you get
Washington.
elected again, go back to Washington, how do you keep the agencies
He
under
said
control? How do you keep
Washington,
FBI
and I
and
thought
CIA
he was about
specifically
to
under
say
control?
washing
The way you
machine
do it, like I
again.
fired Comey, that was a big deal. You know, a lot of people said, and I fired him very early. Somebody said, oh, I wish you would have fired him. There was a real question about firing him. Anyway, you understand, because, you know, when they have a 10-year term, there is a question.
I literally said this from the day
I
he
fired
announced.
Comey.
I
That
was
was a
like,
great thing. If I didn't fire
wish
Comey,
he
maybe I
wasn't
wouldn't be talking
running.
to you, or I'd be talking to you about real estate or something else other than politics, right? That was a coup, in my opinion. That was a very sick deal. That was the insurance policy. You remember the insurance policy? Oh, she's going to win, darling. She's going to win. What? But just in case she doesn't, we have an insurance policy. An insurance policy was what they were doing. And we caught them with that. That was a very important tweet or whatever it was, text. It was a big deal. That was a big deal. The insurance policy.
The FBI.
She's going to win 100 million to 1. That's not good odds. At least they
The
gave me
polls
one.
said
Right?
that.
100 million
You
to
like
1.
the polls now.
But just in case she doesn't win, we have an insurance policy. And everybody said, that's strange. That's strange. But we caught all that because I fired Comey. Because
I'm finding this
when I fired Comey,
too
it
because
was
I've
like
gotten
throwing
so
a
much shit
rock into a hornet's
for
nest.
not only
Into a
feeling the way
nest
I
of
do about
bees,
this, but
and the
being
place went
honest
crazy.
So
about
when
it.
you were
A
president,
lot of
are
people
you
agree with me,
confident
they
that you
aren't
knew
honest about
everything, say,
it.
CIA was doing around the
No,
world?
I'm
so
not.
glad
I'm not.
you guys are saying this too.
It's a very interesting group of people. I had very good relationships, I thought, but I was a little surprised when I got out that, you know, things go on. Look, it's.
What were you surprised by?
I was surprised. I think it's some of the people. I was surprised that there was. I had a group of people. Look, we killed many using the CIA. I have to say this. Bad, very bad actors. We were very good at it. You look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, bigger than Osama bin Laden.
I'm joining
Osama bin
you.
Laden, but al-Baghdadi did ISIS, and he was rebuilding ISIS very strongly.
And that was the CIA that did that.
That was really us that did that.
Yeah.
That was really us that did that. And Soleimani was us.
That's literally what I'm hearing right now too. No, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing
we
wah, wah,
did
wah,
some
wah,
very
wah,
good work with
washing
the CIA.
machine.
But I started, you know, when I looked at the
washing
51
machine.
intelligence
Wah, wah, wah,
agents,
wah, washing machine. Wah, wah, wah,
saying that that
Washington.
was the laptop from hell was Russia disinformation. When I took a
Yeah,
look
Millie,
at
save yourself.
that, I said, that's a horrible thing. They knew it wasn't. They knew it was not. And by the way, you're talking about cheating on the election?
Oh,
McLaughlin and
so are you.
Fabrizio, great pollsters, they said a thing like that plus other things meant anywhere from 10 to 17% of the vote would change.
Whatever happened to Mike Pence? You've always been nice to Pence. I've never heard you criticize Pence. You've defended him in public many, many times. He's out there attacking you. What is that?
So Mike wants to run for president.
Thank
You gotta
you,
understand.
Dame. I appreciate
In my opinion, Mike Pence had the absolute right to send the votes back to the legislatures. The Democrats and everybody said, you don't have the right. In other words, what I said is he a human conveyor
that
belt?
should
I mean,
be-
if he finds fraud in
Camelot
Pennsylvania,
is super smart.
in Georgia, in any of these
With
states,
his grifting, I need to start
Arizona,
with mine and say, I'm just going to
he
hold
has to
everyone
send them to Mitch
hostage, and We're going to
McConnell,
have to
right?
watch this.
That's
We're gonna
right,
stay here
sir.
all night.
Well, if he finds fraud, he has to. Yes, sir. I said, so he's just, so he's a conveyor belt. Boom, put him in. I said, I don't agree with that. And we had some lawyers,
Of course
not all.
I am.
We
You
had
think
some
I would
lawyers that
miss
said,
that?
no, you do have the
Oh, I
right to
got-
send them back to the legislatures to
I've
be
already been
rechecked.
planning
Because if
my
you look at
material.
what went on in Wisconsin, who, by the way, now agree with me.
I got one
Wisconsin
thing
has
I'm going to
been,
do in particular.
virtually, other than the fact they're not allowed to do anything
I'm not going
statutorily.
to tell you guys now. It's going to be
But
a
Wisconsin
surprise.
has been, I mean, what they found is
Just wait.
incredible.
It's
I
gonna
mean,
be
we won
so good.
Wisconsin. But Mike Pence had the right, in my opinion, to send them back.
Do you ever talk to him now?
No, I haven't spoken to him in a long time. I was very disappointed in him.
Does anyone,
I didn't want to do what Thomas Jefferson
does
did.
anyone have a bucket of water? to
Thomas
throw on?
Jefferson,
You don't.
it was Georgia. And it was, hear ye, hear ye, the great state of Georgia is not capable or allowed
We have literally
to
lost half our
tabulate their
viewers.
votes.
It's-
And Thomas Jefferson, who was the vice president,
Oh my God.
said, is Georgia sure that they cannot tabulate the
Oh, I
votes?
want to. I love him.
Georgia is sure. He didn't send them back and have them redo it. He said, we will keep the votes of the great state of Georgia for Thomas Jefferson and his president. I didn't ask him for that. Could have done that too, but I didn't. I thought
Every
that
time
would
I
be
look at how many people are
turmoil.
watching.
I asked him to send him back to his legislature, to the legislatures, you know, in Wisconsin, let's say.
But why didn't he? I mean, you'd worked together for 4 years. You're the president. He's VP. You say you're aligned on everything.
I think he got very
I'm
bad.
telling you guys. Okay.
really do.
Does everybody want
Now,
me
let
to
me
shut
tell
it
you what
off?
happened.
Because I will if you guys want me to.
I sat there with a few people.
I don't know if you're being ironic or
I
not.
think his lawyer was in the room too. His lawyer was very much against it. There were other lawyers that felt you could do it. It was
I
one of
feel
those
like
things.
tonight
You
has been the
probably, I
twilight
think you could have.
zone. I'm starting to
I
like.
think you can always do
pivot.
something if you see fraud or if you see
Exactly.
problems. But it's very interesting. So after the election was over, the rhinos got together with the Democrats
Please.
and they redid the election. So you couldn't do it anymore. So then I called the people. I said, so in other words, you're saying I was right. You could do it. Yes, you could do it. In other words, they took the Voting Act and they redid it. So the vice
Oh my
president
God,
no longer has the
Sage!
power to do what I
Okay,
said he
for
could do.
Sage, I will
So when that
stop.
happened, I said, wow. So, and you know,
Okay.
you'd look some of
We're
these
out.
Democrats in the eye and they
We're
said, he
out.
has absolutely no right to do it. And immediately after the election,
What are we,
they
a
met
half hour in and they're
rhinos,
still talking about
the Damon
2020?
Wall, and Democrats.
I can't. We can't do this because I love you guys and I'm not doing that to you. I can't. We're a half hour in and they're still talking 2020. The election was stolen and Mike Pence should have done the thing. And this will be every minute of every day if he is the nominee. Whew. This is a crazy ass night. And mark my words. Remember I said this. I don't check Twitter while I'm on these. I'm going to go on Twitter afterwards, and people are going to be lying their fucking asses off. The Trump supporters and the DeSantis supporters. And I am a DeSantis supporter, but I'm honest, and they're not. The Trump people are going to say how wonderful that was. He did so great. He was presidential. The primary's over. And the DeSantis people are saying, oh, he was strong. He was a leader. He was lively. They are all full of shit. They're also full of shit. I can't take it. But I love you guys so much. I am so grateful that, like, this is a place of honesty. We leave the fucking bullshitters outside. Ugh. Oh, yeah, we got to know what happens after. I kept waiting for some grand finale that would redeem the whole thing. It never came. It honestly makes me sad. Like, especially, like, he's going to be arrested tomorrow. He didn't fucking do anything. He's an old man. He's going to be arrested for having won an election almost a decade ago. Like, it's sick. So it just makes me sad. I just wish he wasn't running. I wish he wasn't running. No. Hell, he's simping. Woo. She was in pain watching this. We all were. I feel like tonight was our tour of Nam. I feel like we've been, and God, between having to watch And Just Like That and this, thank God Camelot is coming on the next episode because we need him. to save us from all of this shit. Jesus. He is. I think the only question. Okay, here's the thing. So everybody's saying the primary's over. Trump is going to win. And I've never bought that from the beginning because I've seen other elections. I remember 2008 was the first election that I sort of like paid attention to, that I was old enough to. And I remember the beginning of it, that we were told all the same shit about Hillary. She's the nominee. It's her turn. That's how it's going to be. The election is over. And she was, 30 points ahead of Obama. We know how that turned out. So I've been convinced this whole time that I don't think Trump will be the nominee. Do you guys think he will be? I'm interested to know what y'all think. And I pray that I pray that he's not. I wish he would just bow the fuck out. Oh yeah, Ahsoka. I saw a clip on about Ahsoka that Star Wars girl posted, and I couldn't believe it was real. It was the most it was as boring as that, almost as boring as that. Whew. Yeah, welcome to the fall of the Republic. I have guns and food. Oh my God. This was painful. Cody's the best. I'm really surprised how many of us feel that way. I really have felt for a year now, like most people who were hardcore Trump people feel this way. Because I'm sorry, like a lot of us have had, I was telling our squad in the Discord and the locals today or yesterday, I was telling them, like, this was more fun when I started doing it, when it was like, giving the middle finger to these SJWs, we called them then. And it was all about, they're canceling comedians from colleges. Okay, but now they're arresting their political opponents. Now they're putting Americans under house arrest. Now they're force injecting people. They're segregating people. I'm sorry, I think for people to act like we have an election to just throw away on somebody who cannot do it, I think people who think that would have to just not realize how bad things are right now. Whew. Oh my God, never. I miss our Cody. Oh, I do too. I really miss the 2000s. Those were the best. Oh yeah, I've watched his stuff. I should reach out to him. Front Porch Conservative, my love. I know you like Trump, but honest thoughts on that, because we couldn't fucking make it through it. But I will meet you in the middle, because I'm for DeSantis and he fucking sucked. So I'm interested to know what you thought about Trump. Or have we both been let down tonight by the people we like? Mm-hmm. Took 8 years to get from bake the cake bigot to if you don't let me kidnap and transition your child, you go to jail. Mm-hmm. Whew, so this was a surprising evening. We'll see what happens, I guess. I think people don't realize there's a long, long way to go. There are going to be a million of these friggin' debates, so we'll see. I am open-minded to Vivek now in a way that I wasn't. I'm still very skeptical of him. I think we should all be skeptical of politicians, but I was not open-minded to him before, and I'm open to the idea now. I think it would be better than Trump as a candidate. Oh, that would have been great. Larry Elder would have fucking lit that place up, too. Did you see him on The Breakfast Club? He demolished those people. I don't mean those people like those people. No, you did not, Brian. You did not. I only saw the first sentence. But let me continue reading. I love you. Tucker has a lot of good questions. Oh, we love Tucker. Trump gave some standard answers. Some were surprising. The one about being fooled by this. Another person he was fucking fooled by? Fucking Boo Boo the Fool doesn't get fooled by this many people. Ugh! Oh my God. Yes, I agree. You can back Trump, like, pardon him. Yeah, I agree. Oh my God. Vivek came off strong. Pence is a non-issue. DeSantis is a robot. You're right. I hate that you're right. At least tonight he was. Haley's a mean-spirited little dog and the rest are non-entities. And I think, you know, I think tonight was the night I was convinced that Mike Pence is a flaming homosexual. Allegedly. I could not believe what he said about Epstein. I couldn't believe it. And to say it's not his concern. Whose concern is it? Because it's not his concern. It's not the FBI's concern. Whose concern is it? That we still don't know one fucking person in the on the client list. Tonight was both fun, illuminating, and infuriating. Oh my God. I feel like my brain is melting. I am going to go get in bed. I'm going to get in my jammies, get in bed, and watch like a very violent horror movie. I'm thinking Last House on the Left. Trump did have a few zingers, but rambled at times too. Tucker didn't even ask questions about COVID. Shut the fuck up! So we only watched, I don't know if we even got halfway through. We couldn't take anymore. That's unbelievable. How do you feel about Vivek, Brian? Because I did not like him at all. But now I don't know. I'm like, maybe I was wrong. Millie, go. Everybody subscribe to Millie's Twitch. Millie, post your Twitch handle in the chat. I love you because she is the best. I kind of am too. Like, I've thought he's such a slime ball, but he was like he might as well have been the only person on that stage tonight. Oh, we're almost at the end. I was just thinking it's gonna go on forever. I don't trust Vivek either. But I am impressed by how he did tonight. I think he was the only person there who looked prepared. I am shocked by DeSantis. I can't believe it. Especially, there's been so much negativity around his campaign thrown at him. Like, this was his chance to kind of introduce himself to a larger audience. And he blew it. I can see that. Oh, that was amazing. The answer about the Obama hug. That was amazing. Apparently he's very, you know what? We should test this out and see just how easy he is to book on shows. I should try to get him on this little dog and pony show. Probably. That's interesting. Maybe we're all just kind of like untrusting bitches. Maybe he is sincere. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case, but you know, I'm willing to fucking try anything at this point because what do we have? As a wise man once said, what the hell do you have to lose? I will, but like people get angsty about coming on a show with me. Invite him at a pool. I want to do that. I want to do that. They should invite him to this friggin' walkaway event. Which, who brought up the walkaway event? Are you coming to it? Because you should, in Florida in November. Relatable. You play Friday the 13th. That's amazing. I'm Vanessa. I am a beautiful chocolate goddess. Yeah, exactly. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I thought that was you. Well, if you feel like taking a trip, bring the pool floaties. You should do it. Oh, West Palm is far for you. You know what's interesting? So I've been planning to move to St. Pete in Florida, but my parents apparently have some realtor friend who gets like discounts, who can get people discounts on places, but it's in West Palm. So I'm going to explore West Palm while I'm there. I figure maybe if it'll just like get me to Florida, and then if I want to move to another place with anything to get me the hell out of New York. Terrible, but I'm down. This is my worry about Vivek. I'm warming him because I think he's smart and mostly MAGA, but there's an instinct I have not to trust. Exactly. I feel the exact same. I think a lot of us here feel the same way. Yeah, I don't either at this point. But I would prefer him to Trump at this point as the nominee, because I think Trump 100% loses. And with Vivek, I think he would win. So then there's like a 50-50 shot that he'll do what he says. Ooh, how is it, Rich? I really want to go there. I want to be there so badly. You're there too. Whenever people tell me, though, that a place like that is woke or that it's expensive, I'm like, I'm coming from New York City, so it'll seem, far right by comparison. No, I am dying to play the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, but I don't have a console. I only have the Switch, and it's not on there. So I'm thinking about saving up to get a Steam Deck. Ooh, let me check those out. My grandparents had a place in Sarasota when I was a kid. And then they moved to St. Pete. Was it St. Pete? I don't know. It was around St. Pete, like Clearwater area. Clearwater is very nice, except the fucking Scientologists. No, they didn't. What? What is wrong with people? That shit's expensive. I'm a broke bitch. You really the vibrant LGBT. Would they like me though? Is the question. Let's see. $1, $2. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't quite have one yet. I'm saving. That's true. Brian, yes, I need to do that as well soon. Or I need to get to watching a horror movie and getting in my jammies. Love you, man. I gotta hit the hay. Want something to show you. So, I love you. I hope your stream went well. Let's do one soon. I was gonna see if you wanted to come on tonight, but I saw you were already streaming. But let's do one soon. Love you, Brian. Love you, Millie. Yeah, I'm gonna get going as well. They're gay conservatives in Tampa, but ooh. Yeah, I've given up on any thoughts of dating or anything here. I'm thinking, new pool will open up once I am out of this hellhole. Aw, Lindsay, you're the sweetest. Towards the PS5 fun. Aw, thank you so much. Millie convinced me to start streaming like games, so I think I'm gonna do Caleb, I didn't know yo ass was here. Hey. I'm gonna jump off. Sage, mwah, my love. Yes, if you guys are not on my locals, tomorrow is the end just like that finale. We've had a good ass time hate watching this piece of shit. And that we also do movie night. We just watched Jason X. We have very fun Discord chat. What else? We're starting Are You Afraid of the Dark Nights, the Midnight Society. So subscribe. The link's below. This was so much fun, though. I love you guys so much. I honestly, you have no idea how sick I've been of these like fucking phony non-fluencers that don't know they're non-fluencers that are so full of shit. So I appreciate you guys so much. This is a fucking place of honesty. All right, well, with that, think I'm going to do Last House on the Left. Oh, I'm like, Last Homo on the Left. So I'm not on the left anymore. But, all right, well, this was, it's been real and it's been fun, but it has not been real fun. No, it has been. I'm kidding. All right, well, I love you guys. I think Saturday, Camelot will be on. I'd make sure that I have the right day. But the next one will be with Camelot. I'm looking forward to it. Me too, Trina. Good to see you. Burner, you're the best. Which one? I kind of want to watch the remake. I haven't seen it in years, but I think it's very underrated. Putting Up With You, we love you. Tame, we love you. You guys are amazing. All right, well, I will be back Saturday, I think. I will be back tomorrow with the And Just Like That finale. And all we want to see is Kim Cattrall and what she is wearing. Thank you, Patricia Field. All right, let's all go on Twitter and see how full of shit everyone is. All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. Holy shit, I think this might be the longest one I've ever done. We've been on here almost 4 hours. I get sick of the sound of my own voice after 3 hours. I don't know how sick of it you must be. Holy shit. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I love you. Mwah. Good night, my loves.